Welcome back, everyone. This is Akinar here with more Blueprints. Day 35 is about to begin. Let's continue. We shall get it started here after our graduation day, day 34. We actually made it to all 8 grades of the classroom. And on top of that, we were able to take our final exam. So I suppose, I feel like I see something different on the in the entrance hall already. I suppose we haven't graduated until we've actually passed the final exam. So, aha! We are also getting something else. Some cool things are happening here to start our day. We've got our key from the clock tower. We got our 2 gems from the gemstone cavern like we always do now. But we also have 10 extra steps because we called it a day last time in our spare master bedroom, which does give us some bonus steps to start our day. So that's cool. That's awesome. Day 34 was a lot of fun. The other big thing from day 34 was getting our hands on Realm and Rune. We finally drafted the bookshop after its absence for quite some time, and if only we had been able to purchase all the books in one go on that big book shopping day that we did way back when. But we finally have Realm and Rune, and so we're going to be hoping to get our hands on a library at some point today. Should be able to do that with a reading nook. Let's pick up our allowance, and the exam results. I'm nervous. I am nervous because this is a trophy, isn't it? This is a ace the final exam. Oh, shit. It says ace the final exam. It doesn't say pass the final exam. It says ace it. I don't feel like we aced the final exam. And as I was reviewing my footage, I definitely saw some answers that I would have done differently if I'd been given the chance. Let's check it out, though. Without further ado, let's jump into exam results. A C+. That feels about right. That feels like I thought we might have gotten a passing grade, but I definitely did not feel good about any of these. Maybe a couple of these topics I felt pretty okay about, but the test in general, I just knew we were not prepared for. And sure enough, okay, so it doesn't actually give us I was hoping it might give us a question by question. Here was the answer, but it's not gonna do that. So you're gonna have to study on your own to see what you could have done, what answers should have been correct. But we actually, the color portion, I know we missed we should have, I think, taken greenhouse in Kararika. That's probably the question we missed there. We did get at least 100% on the math, so we know what we're doing with elementary math. Algebra, on the other hand, was a different story, but I think I've had a realization during my editing about what the little sine waves are supposed to be. I think I know how to do those now. So, but it is interesting that we got only 71%. How many questions, what percentage is that? Or how many questions out of, I wonder what the total amount of algebra questions was. Because I feel like we only had a couple of the sine wave tennis ball questions. Did I get more than just those wrong? Our art question, we also apparently screwed up at least one. And we didn't do so well on history or erosion. Really, the erosion, I would have thought we would have done better than 50%. I guess we at least know our geography. I think we got lucky there with me checking my notes to make sure was it Morning Bay? That question. We did okay on science, and yeah, all right, so we've got some work to do. The C+ is not good enough, right? That does not count as acing the final exam, because I would imagine if we had, there would be a trophy. There would be a trophy awaiting us. So that's unfortunate. It also, we only had the 30-minute time limit that I was not really warned about. If I had been, I certainly would have done some more last-minute studying in order to try to get that. And we got to ace that, man. We got to ace the classroom. Okay, so we've picked up our allowance. Let's go ahead and head to the outer room. I will quickly mention that we obviously we made it to the 8th grade of the classroom, which means we have learned our rudimentary vocabulary for Eurasian. And so I did take the opportunity to do another notes review session. Also, I'm noticing that our microchip, another thing we did on day 34, we dug up a microchip, but it remains buried when you reset your progress. So that's something I would have expected it to be. You got to have a shovel and get all the business done at once involving the microchips. So, but we had what was I talking about? I was talking about the classrooms and Eurasian, and one of the things that we wanted to learn Eurasian for was to be able to go back to the tomb, because there is a note inside of the tomb written by, I presume, Lady Epson. So what I did, because we learned the Eurasian vocabulary that we did on day 34, I did another notes review session because I wanted to see if I could decode Lady Epson's note. So that bonus notes review session is available for Roundtable Night members and up. If you're interested in that, I'll be sure to leave a link here. And you can check out the full details, the full session in its entirety. But the upshot of that session was that I kind of decoded the note. I don't think I decoded it to the amount of clarity that I would like, but I think I got the gist of it. My understanding of Eurasian is still rudimentary. I'm working on understanding exactly how you put all the pieces together of the different parts of the vocabulary. So there's work to do, but when we get back to the tomb, we will discuss that note perhaps in a little bit more depth when we actually have a chance to look at it. But I think we're going to go ahead and draft the outer room. Oh, they do actually offer us a tomb, but it's next to a shrine. That's an interesting choice. I think I'm going to end up taking the tomb, but the shrine is one I want to get back to because, for one, I want to get another shrine buff, but also we have this cursed coffers to investigate. But I don't know if that's something I'm going to do today. I think I am going to settle for the tomb. Because the cursed coffers, it's going to put us into some sort of cursed mode, isn't it? And it's going to make our draft harder, more difficult. We're pretty skilled drafters now, and we have a lot of buffs, allowance, gems, keys, all these things. Our resources, steps, our resources they're not infinite yet, but they are much more plentiful than they used to be. So putting a little bit of a burden on our draft could be a fun challenge, but I don't think it's something I'm going to do today, because not only do we want to recheck Lady Epson's note, but I have been given a nudge by, I think, a couple different people that there is still something in this tomb that I have missed. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. It's right here. There are candle holders right here. What? How have I overlooked these? These are clearly the special candles that you can light up. I forgot to check my inventory as well. We did actually get pretty lucky to have a key card given to us by our moon pendant. We also have a sleeping mask. So those things are good, but we did not get a torch to carry over to this day. Otherwise, we'd be able to light these right now. Holy shit. Okay, so we'd like to get our hands on an armory to potentially get a torch, or we want to get a workshop so we can make a burning glass. I think that's what we've missed. There might be more. Who knows? Because now I really should take the time. I think what we'll do here is we'll go... Wow, I can't believe I missed that set of candles. I cannot believe it. But this is what I am continually learning about myself. The longer that I do YouTube content like this and am able to rewatch myself during editing, it is just, I'm honestly flabbergasted sometimes at the things that I miss. And the things that I think I see, it's sometimes it's even worse than missing something. It's like, I will think that I have seen a thing. I'll be like convinced that I saw a certain thing happen. And in reality, like something completely different happened. My interpretation of events on the spot, my brain just doesn't necessarily get it all. And I get a little, you know, exacerbated with myself in the process. And probably you all in the audience get a little bit exacerbated with me in the process. I should not have picked up that diary key. Honestly, I shouldn't do this because it's sort of like the basement key. We don't need to pick up items that are going to potentially be bad carryovers for our moon pendant. So that's a little bit of an inefficiency there. There's no reason for us to reopen Lady Epson's diary. So small, minor little misplay for the record. Now let's talk about this note. This note here, I think the gist of what I was able to pick up is this first word here, I think is to my daughter. I think that's what this is. Ove is like toward, and this EL, I was a little confused because I was thinking, I wasn't sure if it was ELD that kind of goes together, because I think in some cases that might be, there might be some instances where, well, maybe not. Maybe I am, it just feels like here ULD should go together, and then ARIE or AREI, excuse me. Let me quickly pull up my notes from the classroom to remind myself what the vocabulary that we learned. AREI is future. So that is a sort of a word on its own. And it's like your future it to the south away from Fen. Your future to the south away from Fen. And because I think she is writing this to Mary, her daughter. So this first one here could be that D goes with, it might go with the rest of the word. So you'd end up with Dejiris, and maybe that's daughter. So to my daughter. And then UL is you or your, but then EL is I or me. So, and then Dao, and Dao is day, NAI is night. Mora, I was confused about what Mora is at first, but I think from the classroom, we know that Mora, grade 4, we see Mora Ven, and we see Mora is used a few different times, and I think it's actually what the planet is called, as in Earth. Maybe. So I don't know for sure all of the details yet. Like I said, I don't have a pure 100% translation, but I think the gist is that she's talking to her daughter, Mary, about her escape or her disappearance, because she does mention your future in the south or toward the south away from Fen. See, this is what I don't know what DEINJO. Oh, is it VOVO? I might have misread this previously. What if it's two suffixes together? Because we know that vo is away. Vo is away. And if we put vo, but it feels like it's Jerovo. It looks like an R. Because her R here that looks like an R. The V, it has a little bit more space compared to the R's. So this is Jorovo. I don't know what DEINJORO means. Danjoro. So there's some words in here that I don't have a translation for it, so I can't quite figure it out. Forget your something in the north. Forget your life in the north. It's sort of like she's prepping her. It's almost like she's preparing her for her escape, because she says something about, you're not House Sinclair. You're not House Epson. You are, I don't know. What are you? If you're not House Sinclair or you're not House Epson, are you now Jean Ribbon? Are you supposed to, like, really, is she's saying, hey, take on this complete new identity so you don't get caught? Heed my words, I think is what that part says. So I'm hoping as I continue to review this, I'll get a little bit of a better understanding, and maybe we'll even get a translation for some of these other words that we don't know yet. Like Uld, Jor, Jerry. Jor is supposed to be, oh, wait a second. Actually Jor is supposed to be name, right? Jor is name. So what if it's Jor Ovo? Is Ovo a different, we know that OV is supposed to be toward and VO is away, but what is Ovo? Jor, name, Ovo, toward but away. What? I might be overcomplicating. I probably am. Your name, Uld, Jor, Jerry. See, what is that? I don't know what Jerry is. If I'm even combining those words correctly. Ovis Neverai. Into the south is the new future. Ov Iraja, toward Iraja. Because it sure seems like Lady Epson is from Iraja. That's why she's speaking Irajan, right? Lorja. Finally, last word. Lorja. Last word to my daughter. Goodbye, my daughter. Your mother. Is that what it is? Your mother, Jorah? Uld Jorah? Interesting. Because I wonder if D and J can be combined. Like, can I say Jorah? like Jorah, the hunter? Jorah, the hunter? Okay. So that's my thoughts so far on that note. I think the ultimate takeaway is that it's a flavor note. I don't see it as a note, at least not yet. I don't see it as something that, like, is going to help us get sigils or other tangible progress that we can see on our blueprint screen. So it's a cool note to try to decode, but I haven't yet registered. Right in my mind right now, it's not there for permanent progress. It's a flavor helping us understand the story sort of note. Okay, I am going to take a few minutes here to very slowly and carefully check the rest of the tomb. I'm going to go very, very slowly that I haven't missed anything else, because holy crap, I missed a set of very extremely obvious light 'em up candles. So if I've missed those, what else have I missed? So please give me a few minutes here while I don't want to bore you all to death with me looking at every little small detail and nook and cranny and corner. But of course, if we find anything, we will cut straight to that. But otherwise, I'm just going to be trying not to be a fool once more. Can we find all the things? Okie dokie. I feel fairly confident, but also I have trouble trusting my brain to have actually fully absorbed everything that I'm supposed to absorb here. But I think that I have found or have observed all there is to observe so far in the tomb. Feel free to let me know if I have indeed missed anything else still. I still do wonder about this note. The floor plan, this floor plan is the definitive dead end. Dead end in red and underlined. Or is it? Well, that question at the end. Or is it? What does that mean? How, like, what? What? It's not the definitive dead end? What do you mean? What are you talking about? What more is there to that note? But I feel like I've poked around every potential area, section of this tomb. I did feel before like there could be some breakaway walls, but I think we did come back to some of these with the power hammer, right? Maybe we should make another power hammer one of these days and do another perusal of the tomb. But I don't see any obvious cracked walls, even though there are these recesses that are in the stone. Okay, I think it's time to move on, and we're gonna try to light some candles later on today. But for now, we move forward with our draft. We've picked up our gold, and it's time to start the draft in earnest and look to get a library. Should be able to get a library one way or the other. The library also seems to pop up fairly frequently, even without the Nook these days. Sometimes that's with the help of something like the schoolhouse, but one way or the other. Let's see what we get. We'll draft mid-entrance hall and go from there. Let's start it off. Okay, now we know from experience that the spare master bedroom does, you can wait to pick up the steps if you really want. So we could just pick this spare master bedroom right now, and then we have a way into rank 3, and then we can draft the sides of the, but we don't have to enter first. We can draft the rest of the entrance hall and continue in whatever direction we choose, and go from there. At the same time, we can come back to the spare master bedroom when we so choose, and we get the, however many steps, based on how many rooms we have at that time, once we actually step in the master bedroom. At the same time, a Geist bedroom, when you have a tomb already, that's 6 dice that you have straight off the bat. I kind of like that idea. I kind of just like that idea. And this is not the worst place to put a dead end. On top of that, if there's ever a world where we actually were to draft the 20 dead ends, I think the way to do that is you pretty much have to avoid straight through rooms and elbows. You almost can't, you probably have to draft some, but you want to avoid them almost at all costs and try to draft either a dead end itself or some room that goes in more than one, that has more than one door on the other end of it. At least 2 other doors, and preferably 3 if you can get your hands on a 4-way room, because you need to be able to connect at least one dead end to that next room, but also keep your draft going. And so if you just pick elbows or straight through rooms, you never get to draft dead ends. That's kind of the theory that or the heuristic that I'm working with if I'm trying to get that 20 dead end dream. So I think in order to make that happen, you want to have dice so you can re-roll, and in the situations where the game only gives you elbows or straight through rooms, to try to get a T-shaped room at least. So let's take the Geist bedroom. Let's do it. We already slept in the spare master bedroom, so we have extra steps already. And on top of that, we get some steps from the sleeping mask. So I like this start. I think this is good. Okay. Die! Always love seeing that. Wonderful little fun wordplay there in the Geist bedroom. So now, left or right? Which way do I prefer? Does it matter? I'm gonna head to the right. I don't know why I like it, but I prefer going east from the entrance hall first when I can. Aha! There's a security room. That's a T-shaped room. A code check starting with a Crown of the Blueprints. That could be fun. Just to start our day with that. But I would also like to just draft a security room first and then put a coat check on the end of that, if I could help it. The Crown of the Blueprints is interesting if you're going for 20 dead ends, because it's interesting because the 4-way rooms, a lot of those are red rooms. Archives, weight room. Like, the weight room is probably a pretty key room to have appear in your 20 dead end rooms, 20 dead end floor plans, because it's a 4-way room, with the only downside being that you lose a bunch of steps. And our steps, cutting our steps in half is not going to be the end of the world, because we get so many steps from so many different sources. But I do think it is correct, though, to spend the gem in this case, especially when we have a key card already. We can turn that security level up ASAP. So let's take the security room, and it does spend a gem. It's something to keep in mind, that we only have the 2 gems. We're not carrying over infinite gems like we would if we had the freezer previously on the previous day. It's also, I also kind of want to keep an eye on the clock. If I'm not going to be able to do that. I don't think. It's just, I have too much that I'm thinking about during a draft. We should try to make a point of it though, because we want to get our hands on a clock tower. And I think we want to try to get our hands on a clock tower at 1:30. I'm starting to wonder if the sacred hour means draft the clock tower actually at 1:30. Would the game be that particular? Would it say this is the only way that you're going to get a sanctum key to appear? Maybe it would. I don't know yet. Let's do our duties here at the terminal. And then there's also supposed to be more. We've gotten our 5 coins added to the tomb. There is supposed to be more to security. I've been nudged that maybe spend a little more time thinking about security and what's going on there. There's more to see or more to find. So let's do our keycard settings. And then return to the security menu. We will do our special order like we always do. And I'm just not sure what else I am missing in security. I don't quite know yet what is supposed to be here. What is the thing that I have overlooked? But we'll take a look here in a second. Magnifying glass. Continue to want that, because apparently, even if we're not looking at things very closely, having a magnifying glass on hand to make a burning glass with, to light up some candles that you've walked by 100 times before and never noticed. That's a thing. I think we'd already previously filled out our glossary. I don't think there's anything new here, because I think we already filled all this out. Feel free to let me know if there's anything I missed with glossary. Data transfers are still disabled. Will they ever be enabled? Don't answer that. Electronic mail, there shouldn't be anything that we need to... Maybe there is here. Maybe we should review the electronic mail. Maybe this is something that we do need to actually peruse once again, because maybe there's a detail here that we've overlooked. Randolph Moore writing to Kirk Darren, who we know is supposed to be a pseudonym, but who actually is Kirk Darren? I don't think I know that. Per our last meeting, effective immediately, please suspend all security camera recordings. Live surveillance has been approved, but the Baron no longer wishes to have tape logs of activity on the estate. Is that important? Because this has also been mentioned in the Grotto, hasn't it? The Grotto mentions surveillance being, or security camera recordings being disabled. And I had thought that this was connected to that note in the safe house, where they say, delete it. And there's an A on the screen for the archives. And I thought, oh, we're like deleting the footage of the birth certificate for our mother being forged and stored in the archives. I don't know though. There's the letter to Mr. Darren from Ann Babbage. Sorry for the lag in reply. I'm still learning how to use this machine. This is about security measures. So I know he has expressed interest in installing secondary access levers. Right. This is just letting us know that you can open the antechamber with other ways than just the Great Hall and weight room and whatnot. Or that, yeah. I don't remember which one is supposed to be secondary. Is the secondary lever in the weight room or is in the secret garden? I don't remember exactly which one is which. Which is the primary lever for the antechamber? I'd like to address one potential security vulnerability of having an antechamber lever in the weight room as the years have gone by. This is the clue that lets us know that you can break in through the brick wall in the weight room to get that lever. So nothing new here, I don't think, so far that's popping up. And then another request from Ann Babbage. If you have any more of those red-blue memo sheets, the Baron has requested a handful of each for a new project he is working on in the clock tower. Now this I did not remember. I don't remember them talking about the clock tower. For my part, I can't understand for the life of me why you and the Baron continually insist on confounding my staff and every other person who stumbles upon one of your colored memos. I'm not confident confusion is the best security, but it's not my department, So leave that up to you and the Baron. So he had a new project that he was working on in the clock tower. And he wanted red and blue memo sheets for it. Do I need to review every single red and blue memo that I've ever seen in the game? I have not necessarily kept those all in one place. They're kind of spread out among all of the rooms where I've found them. But I might be able to search in my Google Doc for red and blue memos. I think I do note those whenever I find them. I'm not sure if that's what I was missing. The email note regarding... what? Regarding the clock tower. I don't know if that's what I was missing. We're going to pick the laboratory here and do our experiments. We're a little bit low on keys and gems at the moment, so an experiment that helps us get either of those is good. Preferably gems, if we can, because we do have a key card. But let's see. Gain 1 key, gem, or die selected randomly. I kind of like that. There's also add a small chest to the entrance hall. That's also not bad. It's not terrible, but I kind of like this one. What are the causes? Drafting. While drafting, if you draw a drawing room floor plan, each time you unlock or bypass a security door, that is probably the one. Whenever you draft a shop room. I think we do this. Whenever you unlock or bypass a security door, let's do this one, I think. We don't want to set our steps to 40. We should be okay on steps. Yeah, let's just get this and get some value for our resources. That sounds good to me. Good experiment. We just need to start getting keycard doors, which we might get sooner than later. We'll see how things go. What am I possibly missing though with this security? Is there anything that I can interact with that I've missed? We are coming up on 1:30 actually. Do we wait for 1:30 and see if we can draft the clock tower right down here in the corner? I might do that. So while we're waiting for 1:30, let's think about, or maybe see if there's some way that I can interact with the monitors that I've missed, or something, some detail about the monitors that I've missed. That note in the safe house says delete it for A, the archives. And then we have the O that was scribbled out for the office. This is actually moving, right? This clock over here does move, does it not? It is, just very, very slowly. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Is there something behind the monitors that I've overlooked? Is there one of these drawers that opens up? This tape machine, the recording machine. Can I interact with that in some way? Any of those buttons up at the top? Can't interact with this light at all, can I? Okay, it's getting very close to 1:30, so I'm going to switch over into watching the clock mode, and then we're going to see, like, is the game forgiving enough with this sacred hour business where, you know, as long as you're close, as long as you're, like, within a few seconds of drafting at exactly 1:30, will they offer you the clock tower no matter what? Is it like a guaranteed offering when the clock strikes 1:30? Is that possibly a thing? Is that possibly a thing? Huh, no clock tower. No clock tower. So but we do get a furnace. A furnace is an interesting one, because I think we're getting the furnace here because we're drafting through security, so we're getting a buffed offering rate to duct-related rooms. The furnace doesn't have any power right now, so it wouldn't give us a key. It could give us a key later, but it would give us a buff to red rooms. It would count as a dead end, and it would also give us a buff to red rooms. And we said that we probably want to be drafting stuff like a weight room or the archives if we're going for 20 dead ends. And we kind of need, if we're going for 20 dead ends, we kind of need to skip the conservatory here. The conservatory also spends our last gem. It might not be a good idea to take the conservatory here, just as a, if you're trying to keep your draft healthy. The smart pick from a resource standpoint is the closet, obviously. But I could see, so this is probably where we go. We probably settle for the closet. But I could see a world where you pick the furnace just to give yourself these rooms that are going to give you as many doors as possible. I would feel a lot better about taking the furnace if I had already taken the crown out of the coat check. Because then I would have the option, if I wanted, to get rid of a red room and just do a redraw. So I'd have some additional flexibility to feel good about taking this furnace. Another reason to take the furnace is you have an option. If you get offered a freezer at some point, you could take the freezer and then go unfreeze your assets so you can keep drafting, and then return to the freezer later so that you can refreeze them at the end of the day. I think I'm actually going to do this. I think that it's also something that I've just never done, is like proactively take a furnace, especially this early in the draft. And part of me kind of wants to see how this feels. We have 6 dice. So if we're in a situation where we're really not satisfied with the fact that we got offered an archives and 2 other rooms that we're not happy about, we can use the dice to get out of it. So I kind of want to see how this feels. Even though the closet getting us a gem would be very nice, I really am concerned about our gems here. So we want to get some gems. But I think I'm going to try taking the furnace. And we'll see. This is another early dead end here. We're already at 3 dead ends. It also gives us more gold in the tomb for what it's worth. I think that's the way I want to go there. And see how that feels. We didn't get the clock tower offered at 130. So that, in my mind, is a little bit of a hit on the theory that, you know, you're supposed to draft the clock tower at 130. Because if the game doesn't automatically offer you the clock tower, then is the game really expecting you to sit around and wait another 12 hours to take your chance at drafting the clock tower directly at 130? But at the same time, 130 sure seems to be important. And the game sure seems to indicate, room 46 sure seems to indicate that there's a sanctum key in the clock tower. How do we get our hands on that? It might be that I need a hint from the audience. I'm not sure yet on that. But I think what I'll do is, because we have this policy about leaving your nudges and your hints in a spoiler tag, go ahead, if you have a nudge about the clock tower, because I feel like there's got to be something. I did get a nudge, I will say. One of my trusted advisors who was giving me a nudge about the clock tower in the first place to think more about the clock tower, he had also said that I should think about maybe asking whether there were, how did he phrase it? Whether there were certain things in the game that were just random chance, or whether there were certain things that could be shaped a little bit more to be a little bit more certain. But he didn't give that hint in direct relation to the clock tower. He also had mentioned the clock tower as a room that I should be interested in, but he hadn't said like, oh, you should ask if the clock tower has something about it that can be made more certain or made more a more realistic possibility. I can't remember exactly the wording, but it wasn't a direct hint for the clock tower. I, in my mind, started to connect the dots to think more closely about the clock tower and think, how do I get a sanctum key? Because it hasn't appeared yet. Do we have to draft it at a certain time? Okay, those are my thoughts on the clock tower. We'll leave it at there for now. I don't know about if there's anything else, what else there could be. Maybe there is something. Oh, okay. What if I am looking at the keyboard now and I do see something that I haven't seen before, which is there appears to be a there appears to be, man, I wish I could take a closer look at this, but one of the keys on the keyboard looks like it has been, it's almost like one of Denny's ransom note letters that's been pasted on top of the key. Now, okay, is this set up exactly like a QWERTY keyboard? I think so, in terms of, no, it's not exactly the same, because QWERTY is supposed to be UIOP. Are the rest of these the same? ASDF, GH, JKL. Those are the right letters. Now, this keyboard has removed things like semicolon and apostrophe mark, but the letters so far are all the same, except the I is missing here. There's also Z, X, C, V, B, and M, and then this key here, like, should be a comma, but that doesn't really look like a comma, does it? It looks to me like it, at first I thought it was a Y, but there's already a Y up here. Is this supposed to be, man, I just wish I could zoom in on this. Because the fact that it doesn't let me, well, I don't have a magnifying glass. So even if I have a magnifying glass, I couldn't zoom in on it. But it doesn't let me look closer at it like it would, you know, this note here that's on the table. So it makes me think that I'm not actually supposed to think about this. And this is, my overcomplicated brain is looking for a detail that doesn't matter. So I don't know. I guess I'll make note of that, but I don't exactly know how it helps me because I can't actually interact with this keyboard. None of these keys, I don't think, we should check here to make sure none of these keys can actually be interacted with, right? Spacebar. I don't think any of the keys can actually be pressed. So I thought for a second maybe the keyboard was something I had overlooked, but what about this keyboard? There's actually two keyboards, aren't there? It has the same thing with this key here. It might not be anything. It might just be a detail that I'm getting overfixated on. Swan song. Swan song. Delete the A. Remove the O. And what does that spell? Sunzing. Do any of these other rooms matter? Do any of the other rooms that are being shown matter? Library, music room, wine cellar, vault. The nook is shown twice. The ballroom is shown. The vault is shown for a second time. And the pool is shown. The showroom. Security itself, and that's the only place where we see our little cutout Simon moving around in the room. I don't think that is important. And then you've got the hallway over here. I think it's the hallway. Is there something over here? Secret button on the coffee machine. Secret memo hidden in the microwave. Okay. I guess I'm seeing something else here, which I'm not sure. No, it's not a thing, is it? Because there's letters on these, or numbers on these boxes. I thought for a second that I saw some numbers, and I do see some numbers that are up on this box up above, but they're also like not in a place where you can easily see them or zoom in on them. And so for a second I thought I found like a secret code, but it's not. If it were actually a code that you were supposed to use, they would put it somewhere more visible. I don't know what I'm missing in security. I don't know what I'm missing in security. Maybe I need a more direct nudge regarding security, but if there's something important here that I'm supposed to figure out, I'll keep mulling it over. If you have a nudge, as usual, leave it with a spoiler tag, but I'm going to try to keep mulling this over. I don't quite yet get what I'm missing, though. So let's move on with the draft. I'm taking a lot of time thinking through certain things here, like in the tomb and security, and so our draft is, you know, taking its time. Taking its sweet time, as it sometimes might do. Okay, it really, that furnace, wow. I want a closed exhibit, but I don't want the doors facing this way. I really need a three-way room. Or I take a dead end, right? I could take a dead end here, and I'll say, you know, take my chances with getting the rooms that I want in the other on the other side of the entrance hall. But it's unfortunate that both the closed exhibit and the dark room, I would love to take the closed exhibit because that procs my experiment. I didn't think about that when I was drafting the furnace, but that's an awesome reason to draft the furnace when you have a key card. But I want more than one door to draft from here. I think I might just use a die just so I don't close myself off with a laboratory. I think I want to use a die here to try to get a three-way room that points the way I want it. Let's do it. We've got dice. Use them. Okay. I think I'll settle for the archives here. It is the archives. It's unfortunate that it does, you know, it does not point, or it introduces the archives into our draft, which is a bit of a bummer. Maybe I should use another. It's really early to get an archives, and we're also not getting all 4 doors out of it. I might be greedy here and use another roll. I think I might do that. I think so. I don't want to spend all my dice straight up front, but you know, if we're going to get this, if we're going to make this thing happen, wow, it offered me the archives again. That's insane. I would not have expected that. I would not have expected that. So, wow. I thought, that's right, that is how this works. So you're not, I have this idea in my mind that you don't see a room again when you're drawing from the same door and you do a redraw, that it's like drawing without replacement. So I thought. But that's not the case, obviously, because I just got archives back to back. And I guess I have seen that before with like the secret passage, where we got offered the exact same 3 rooms. I feels like the secret passage is a bit of an exception because your pool is so limited sometimes. But okay, I guess I'm gonna have to settle for the archives here. I don't like it, but it is what I asked for. I did ask for 3- and 4-way rooms, so I'm not gonna waste another die here. Probably already wasted too many as it is. But okay, we'll take the archives. I just don't like it. I hate it. I hate it. I regret everything. I regret it all already. Any items in the archives? Not today, it seems. So what we'll do is we'll draft up through the archives to try to get... This is where we want to draft our... If we're going to draft a weight room, then we want it here to give us as many doors as possible. Okay, I'll settle for a starfish aquarium. That's also more likely here. It does spend a die, and like... This is why 20 dead ends is so difficult, man. I can see why 20 dead ends is going to be so difficult, because I really need to take a parlor here and give myself 3 gems. But if you're going to actually draft dead ends, you got to draft... You can't draft elbows. Wow. That really is a tough one. All right, we're going to try to make this work for now. We're going to see if we can make the 20 dead ends happen. But I might not have enough resources as well. Like, this is the thing. I may just not have enough resources to get this done. If a draft fails, it fails. If you don't get there with a draft, then so be it. It happens. It's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I don't have a gem to get that archive floor plan, even if I wanted to. I don't want to take any of these. I really need to take a dead end here. So, like, this is where I have to use a die, right? This has to be a dead end. If we're living in this world where we get 20 dead ends, this has to be one of them. So we redraw. In some ways, it kind of simplifies your game plan. God damn it. I can't take a laundry room here. Fuck. This is what happens when you don't have gems. Wow. I probably needed to go back to the entrance hall and see if I could draft a den. But I'm not going to get a den, am I? Because I took a furnace. This sucks. I'm going to be very unhappy at the end of this draft, aren't I? I'm going to be very, 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 very unhappy. I am not going to be happy. This is not the way that I am wanting this to go. Okay, we did get a dead end at least. It's a laboratory. I don't think there's anything I've missed in the laboratory, but I might as well check. Because you never know. The way that Blueprints has gone. For me, at least, knowing how I am, I'm prone to miss things. I feel like the laboratory is not one of those places. There's just nothing going on here, right? Right? There's nothing going on here. There's a sus S. But that's about it. Okay. Yeah, so we're down to 2 dice. We have no gems. I probably needed to take that parlor. That would have been the smart move. What are we going to do here? The Starfish Aquarium does get us steps. Does get us steps for being a bedroom and our sleeping mask. Let's go ahead and continue. Because now that we're turning directions, I don't know. I don't know, man. I feel like it's already... The draft is... I'm probably giving up too soon on the draft. I'm probably thinking in my mind of throwing in the towel too soon. But it sucks when you have no gems. I need to go back to the entrance hall. I'm going to go back to the entrance hall and see if I can get lucky getting a den. Or a closed exhibit, right? A closed exhibit over on the left side of the entrance hall would be fine because that will have 2 security doors that can hopefully get us gems when we open them because we have an experiment. I wanted a closed exhibit, goddammit. Do we say that this is a closed exhibit? Do we live in the world where the archive floor plan here is a closed exhibit? Can't take the walk-in closet because I have no gems. I don't want to take a dark room because that's another way for me to screw myself over. Maybe I just take it though. Because, what would be good about taking a dark room? If I end up with 2 dead ends, we have the foundation to go to if we run out of rooms here. We still have the Starfish Aquarium as well to draft through, right? So even if I get dead ends, I would, you know, if I get dead ends through the dark room, that's good. If I get dead ends, then we're golden. So maybe the dark room is not too bad here. Maybe I just settle for the dark room, and it at least gives me 2 more doors. But I don't know. Maybe we wait, right? We could wait to draft the dark room and see if we could get our hands on a utility closet, because that is a dead end. So it all sucks though, man. It all stinks because I really need gems. And it sucks when you don't have gems. It is so bad when you don't have them. Let's just take the dark room. I'm already kind of feeling a little bit like this is the one of the, you guys know me. I'm so like, I want to get so much, I want to get complete maximum value out of my draft. And I'm so regretting my choice with the furnace that I've lost a lot of the enthusiasm that I normally have for getting as much value out of a draft as possible. Like theoretically in my mind, I can understand what I was doing because doors like the rooms like the dark room and the archives give me so many doors, but they come with such a big downside, and our draft is not starting on the heels of a freezer. So we don't have infinite gems like we did yesterday. If I had infinite gems, maybe this plan feels a lot better. I'm going to go ahead, though, and draft back at the aquarium. I'm not going to roll the dice completely in the dark just yet, because we might get our hands on a utility closet, and then the dark room is actually a really good choice. So let's at least see what we get offered through the aquarium. A clock tower that we can't take. Because, of course. I guess I take the center archived floor plan here. I don't know. I'm not re-rolling the dice, but I don't want to take a chapel here where we're only getting 1 door out of it. So I will settle for what hopefully is a dead end, or I guess an elbow or some other room that points upward. I'll just go with the archive floor plan here. What do we get? A maid's chamber. That does point up, but we're now less likely to find items laying around, which is a bit of a bummer. Do I draft through there? Let's go ahead and check and see, because there could be items. We have seen a lucky rabbit's foot in here, counterintuitively enough. Not sure if the staff photo is of any importance to us. It does sort of give us, like, another photo of Hartley, as well as... I think this is Anne Babbage, right? We could probably figure out the names of everybody if I really took the time. I just don't know if it's important to do so. Let's see if this is locked or not. It is unlocked. And that's a gymnasium. Okay, I'll take a gym here. That is good. Or it's good-ish. And there's a security door there. So we should probably draft that and see if we get lucky and get a die. Let's do that. We might also get some sneakers. Sneakers? No sneakers. But the security door is decent. Let's see what is behind. Security door. Gem, please. Gem, 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 gem. Oh, I actually need to draft the room first. I need to draft, apparently, before I get my... You have to actually unlock the door fully. Okay. So, that's unfortunate, because we don't get to take a kitchen, but I don't really need a kitchen. I don't want to take a lost and found here. If ever, if we're going for dead ends, then I'm gonna maybe hope that this is a dead end. We'll see what the... We're doing a lot of Gamba today, at the very least, with this archives in here. We're probably gonna be picking the archived floor plan in a lot of cases. We get lucky that it ends up being a chapel. And we did get a gem! Holy shit, that is amazing. Okay, so we need to be careful about spending that gem, but we at least now have a gem. My god. Okay, now, is there a spot here where, what do I want to do from here? We should probably just draft the other gymnasium door. Like, if we put it, this is where we put a dead end if we get something like a walk-in closet, right? Let's see what gets offered here. A storeroom. Oh my god, that's the easiest storeroom of my life. Okay, our draft has some life. My enthusiasm is returning. Because now I have another gem. That's... Oh my god. Have I never been happier to see a storeroom? My god. There's no broken lever in here because we already picked up a broken lever. Will we be able to do anything with that broken lever? We'll see. But I'm feeling a little bit better now, even though we're going to have to spend some extra steps going through the gymnasium. But now we do have some choices or some options open to us. Okay, let's, I don't want to draft up into the east wing, or do I? I'm not totally sure. How does this end up looking? Like, if we could keep doing what we're doing here, like where we have a three-way room on the east wing, which always points the way we want it, so we just keep drafting up the east wing, but we always put a dead end, like the storeroom here, we always put a dead end to the left. If we did that all the way up, then we would basically be trying to do, like, from the foundation, you could see yourself drafting, you know, 2 dead ends to the left and right, and then a 4-way room above the foundation. That's kind of like the ideal, I think. Now, the ideal is still that you're filling in the rest of the foundation below that with the starfish aquarium, through the starfish aquarium and through the dark room. I can see how this starts to pan out, but again, you have to be very picky about almost never picking elbows. Maybe you have to in some certain situations here just to be able to fully reach every single room in the house. It would also really help to have a storeroom, not a storeroom, but a showroom to get us our ornate compass, right? That item would help immensely. So choosing one straight through room just to get your hands on a ornate compass, that would be, I don't know if that's a requirement, but it sure feels like it makes 20 dead ends a lot more feasible. Okay, let's head to the aquarium. Let's go back to the starfish aquarium and draft this other door and see. I think that's where I want to go next. We're going to wait about going to the chapel and drafting from there just because I think I want some more keys. That's the main reason. I want more keys before we head up there. Dang it, they keep pointing the closed exhibit in the wrong direction. Where's my ornate compass when I need it? Oh, man. I don't want it in. I want to be able to get not just multiple doors from a three-way room, but both security doors, because those are valuable to us. Those are gems and keys and dice. I do really want this closed exhibit, but I want it in the right angle. I don't want to take this lost and found. I don't really want to, because I don't want to risk losing it. Okay, there's one argument for picking up a diary key, is fodder for lost and found. But I don't really want to go through lost and found and potentially have to draft a dead end there, that I have to like go through lost and found twice. I don't want to do that. If only I had a shield, right? A knight's shield, then I could maybe use that on lost and found. That might be the best usage of the knight's shield. Do I want to take a risk with this archive floor plan? Take a chance that it's a dead end? Because I'm down to 2 dice, and we could get more dice through experiments. We should get more dice through experiments, but it's pretty risky to use one of them here. But I want to make sure that this is either a room that gets us multiple doors, or it's a dead end. I'm gonna spend the die. I'm gonna spend the die. While we've got them, we should get more. I think this is what you do if you're trying to go for this. If you're trying to get 20 dead ends, you got to be able to be a little risky or a little loose with your dice. I think I'm gonna do it. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's a crown of the blueprints. That's a crown of the blueprints, if we want it. I was thinking, okay, we get to take the vestibule, but it does cost us 2 gems. That's really interesting. That gets us multiple doors, and I like that. But it's also a crown of the blueprints. On a day when we have, we've already removed a lot of red rooms from our pool. But there are still red rooms there, but they're ones that I don't necessarily want to remove. I do want to remove Lost and Found. So the crown would be good just to get rid of Lost and Found. But I want the weight room, even though I don't want to lose steps, but I want the weight room for doors, and I want the closed exhibit for doors. What other red rooms are left? I'm going to check my notes and remind myself, what red rooms do we have left here? The regular red rooms are basically done, except for the weight room and the... No, that's it. That's actually it. We've drafted already the archives, the laboratory, the furnace, the dark room, the maid's chamber, the gym, and the chapel. Those are 7 of the 8 original red rooms. We have Lost and Found and closed exhibit that we've also added. So we're almost out of red rooms, to be honest. We would only be picking up the crown for specifically the Lost and Found. But there's a good chance that we're going to see Lost and Found again. There's a good chance that it's going to show up again. This is tough because I think the right pick is the vestibule. But it uses my last 2 gems. That's the part that I'm a little sad about. But it's a new room that we've never been to. It is a new room that we have never been to. Oh, man. What do we take? I really don't want to spend my last 2 gems. I don't want to do it. And on top of everything else, like the vestibule is a 4-way room that we would only be getting 2 of the doors out of. But you know, that's really not the big issue though. The big issue is it spends our last 2 gems. I need more gems. And even if we only get rid of the Lost and Found, that's good. That's good for us. And it's another gem on top of everything. I think I take the risk here with the crown, even though we're not getting nearly as much value as I would normally want to get. But I think we take it because it is a dead end. It counts as a dead end, and it potentially gets us, well, it's not spending our last 2 gems. That's really the most important part. Okay, that's what we'll do. We're gonna take this. We're gonna take the crown of the blueprints, and then we're gonna go to the foundation. let's start drafting from the foundation next, while we still have 2 keys to open any locked doors that get in our way. We'll take the crown and probably check that back in. Hopefully have the steps to check that back in when we're all said and done. But let's head back through. Let's head back through out into the out into the foundation. The only question is, do I take the extra steps to go pick up the coins in the tomb? It's 4 extra steps. Let's go ahead and do it, because we might just need to buy a master key if we get our hands on a showroom. So let's get these extra coins. That's another reason to take the coat check, because it is extra coins from the tomb. Still in the market for, I guess, a commissary, because a commissary does get us a magnifying glass. And it would get us more gems, probably. So the commissary is an elbow that we need to probably give strong consideration. And maybe I should have given stronger consideration to that parlor that we got offered earlier. I don't know. This is, if nothing else, we're doing more learning. Even if we don't get to 20 dead ends today, we're doing more learning as to what it takes, what works, or what doesn't. We're going to figure it out eventually. So we'll draft out of the foundation, and I'm hoping we get a closed exhibit. I think I'm going to start drafting to the left of the foundation, because I would rather... We know we're not going to get a weight room offered there. And if we can wait... Oh, God. No pun intended. If we can wait on getting a weight room, wait until we're down to just a handful of steps left. Cut our steps by the minimal amount possible. That is preferable. We'll see how it goes. I don't know exactly what the optimal ordering here is going to be when we're drafting out of the foundation, but I think starting on the west side is how we're going to do this. I think. Because I love how I just love how the west and the east wings steer your three-way rooms the way that you want them. Your closed exhibit actually faces in a direction where you can get both security doors. That's what I like about it. It's nice that way. So let's do it. It would certainly be nice to have 8 courtyards in my pool as well, still, to get all those security doors that go with courtyards. That would also be a nice thing. There's our closed exhibit. Perfect. I think that is perfect. We don't want to remove that one, that's for sure. The other nice thing about having the crown is it does give you a little more intel, even though you've got archive floor plans to deal with. Just a little bit more. Let's go with the closed exhibit, though. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So then we will draft through there, because I want to get my resources from both of these doors. I think we draft downward first. Or we'll draft... Let's see. If we draft upward, we have a chance at getting a garage. And a garage is good for us. We certainly would like to get our hands on a garage. And so that would be fine if that's what we end up getting. I suppose it doesn't matter which direction we go first. I think let's go down. Let's just go one step at a time. Oh, a den, you say? I will happily take a den. I think I definitely want that over a conference room. There's a 1-gem standard room, which could be a commissary, but it could be a lot of things. I think we definitely take the gem here. That gets us a clear gem. It's a gem, it's a gem, it's a gem, it's a gem. We take the den. Now, we also got a gem from opening a security door. Poggers. So now we have 3 gems to open almost any room or draft almost any room in the house minus a trophy room. So do we draft the door above closed exhibit before we go to the den? I think so, because if nothing else, I want to know what I'm getting from this security door. What resource is it going to give me? Aha! Now we get to remove lost and found. There's a reading nook. We still do want to get to a library, but also, if we're drafting this 20 dead ends, if we're doing that today, maybe we have to pass on a library. As excited as I am to read Realm and Rune, I'm kind of excited about doing this 20 dead end thing as well. But I'm even more excited about getting lost and found out of my sight and giving myself another gem. So let's do that. Okay, I think I have to settle for a bunk room here. I think I have to settle for a bunk room because that is almost certainly a room you have to draft if you're going to get 20 dead ends, because it counts as 2 of them. But I also, I can't take an elbow like the treasure trove. I can't do it. I want all the gold in there, but I don't really need all the gold in there. I think I take a bunk room. You have a standard room here that's free. A standard room that's free. That really narrows it down. Yeah, we just take a bunk room. It's what we do. It also gets us steps. Double the steps from our sleeping mask. So that's okay. That's an okay one. It does maybe make things a little bit narrower here by the foundation, but we hope for a T-shaped room. We hope, we hope, we hope, we hope, we hope. And that got us a die, I think. We only had 1 die. Perfect. Okay, our resource generation with this experiment is turning out to be just what we want. Okay, we get more steps from bananas. That's fine. Now we're a little less excited about getting a weight room. So hopefully, I don't know. Maybe we end up removing the weight room with the crown. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But we move on for now and we draft down the West Wing. The question is, what direction do we go? We still have these 2 rooms by the dark room. We're hoping by the end of our draft to get a utility closet to let us turn these on, to turn on the lights in the dark room so that we can clearly see what we're drafting. But the ideal here is probably that we go like, another 3-way room would be perfect. We have 1 more red room, right? We have, what's the red room we have still? It's the one we added, right? Let's go to our room directory and remind myself. We just drafted closed exhibit, but we also have, are we out of red rooms? Is it only the weight room left? What am I guess that's it. That's it, isn't it? Holy shit. That's actually it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We drafted the Starfish Aquarium. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 is the floor is Lost and Found that we just removed. And the last one is the weight room. There are no more red rooms outside of the weight room. Okay, so we don't have to worry about it unless we're drafting away from, as long as we're on the wing, we don't have to worry about the weight room. Now, how does that change things? I don't know if it changes things at all. I think I just keep going down the West Wing here because I hope to get another den or a West Wing Hall. And that is, because if I can do West Wing Hall, dead end, then I can still have 2 dead ends from the dark room. And that's starting to look like a 20 dead end a house. 20 dead end house, if you ask me. Or at least that's what I'd like to think a 20 dead end house will look like. I obviously have no actual experience in getting that deal done, but we're on our way. We're on our way, I think, to getting it done. Let's see what we get offered here through the den. Dang it. That is not what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see an elbow here. And not those elbows. An observatory would not be terrible because an observatory has a good chance to get us gems. And I have said before that the observatory could be one of those rooms that you might actually want to see for this kind of a draft, because it could get you the Southern Cross as well as Draxus the Dead. So I don't know. The observatory could be a pick here. It could be a consideration. What we have to think is, if I do pick an observatory, what would I still need to happen? If I want, I'm guessing I need to fill out probably every room in the house. That still needs to happen. And what am I doing from the left or the right-hand side of the den? Like, am I doing like a straight-through room from the den? Or the den itself could be, this could be a dead end here. This could be a dead end, and the observatory itself could lead to a dead end. And then the dark room would have to have at least one elbow room that gets us to, and we draft 2 dead ends from the dark room. Is that better? Like, I really would love to have a T-shaped room here to draft 1 additional dead end. That's why putting an elbow here kind of sucks, because it kind of, it removes 1 from our overall dead end count, I think. Dark room has to have 2 dead ends, and then we have to have T-shaped room, dead end, dead end. That leaves us 4 dead ends in here, as opposed to an elbow plus 3 dead ends. It takes away 1 from our dead end count, which is why I feel like I have to use a die here. Or I take the risk with the archived floor plan, which could be a West Wing hall, or it could be a den. It could also be another elbow. And maybe this is one of those situations where you have to say, I need to take a calculated risk. I need to take a calculated risk that this is... See, if it's a dead end, that also kind of kills us, though. Like, if it's a dead end or an elbow, that's essentially... No, is it 1 less dead end than we would be able to draft? Maybe not. Maybe a dead end doesn't kill us. Because I could still draft, like, a 3-way room here next to the den, and that turns into a dead end here. So you'd have dead end, and then from the dark room you'd have... Okay, so this could be a dead end if you really had to settle for one. It just can't be an elbow. That's the problem. And there are so many elbows still in our pool. I think you're supposed to use a die here, especially when you have an experiment that should get you more dice throughout the day. I don't know. What's the risk? You take the risk of spending a die, or you take the risk at, you know, rolling your dice on an archive floor plan. The archive floor plan being the dice. It's a roll of the dice, and what are you going to get out of the box, out of the folder? Because I have 2 dice left, I am going to spend 1 of them here. If this were our last die, maybe I would take the floor plan and take my chances there. But let's use 1 of our remaining dice, and we can always get more, hopefully, if we're lucky, with our experiments. And there's also chests that we can open and stuff like that. Let's do a redraw. Okay, we get a West Wing hall, but maybe we should take a wine cellar. I think we take the West Wing hall, though, because it's just a little nicer, right? It gets us 2 more immediate shots at dead ends, as opposed to just the 1 that you get with the wine cellar. And then with the den, you're hoping that you get like the rooms. I mean, you're kind of hoping you get the rooms facing the right way no matter what. Which is why we kind of need a showroom to get ourselves an ornate compass. Where's my showroom, man? That is 1 straight-through room that I would love to see. But I think you're supposed to take the West Wing hall here, right? We're up to 5 gems now, so I'm feeling a lot better about my gem count. But I could see that you're supposed to be responsible and take a wine cellar. Responsible in terms of keeping that gem count healthy. I just like the way a West Wing hall feels, though. It feels like if I'm getting 20 dead ends, this is like the cleaner way for it to happen. It just feels that way, at least. I could be wrong. I may not know what the heck I'm talking about. We shall see. Let's draft downward from the West Wing hall. Dang it, that's not a dead end. Unless it's in the archive floor plan. Bedroom is common. Is that true? And spare master bedroom is also common. Would they actually put a dead end? I don't think I would get a dead end here in between 2 common rooms. I don't know that that's the way. It's been a while since I've examined my my theories on how floor plans are arranged in a draft or in a set of draws. The spare bedroom is what rarity? The spare room originally is common, is it not? And spare bedroom was also commonplace, so the spare master bedroom is also common. These are, and we reset the rarity on a bedroom, didn't we? Because we originally had changed it to standard, but then I reset it for some reason. I don't remember why I reset it, but I think we did go back. I should check my room directory, and I wish I could check the room directory here. I really wish I could when I'm on the draft screen. I kind of can't settle for either one of these. And I can't take the risk with the archive floor plan. I have to use a die here because this has to be a dead end. It just has to be. This is the problem with having the freaking archives in your draft. And maybe, you know, there's a world where you're supposed to leave rooms like this, where you know you have to get a dead end, just like we left the rooms where we were drafting Her Ladyship's chamber. And we left the room that we were drafting out of the library to try to get a bookshop. We left those rooms until the end of the draft because we knew we would have more dice at that point. Maybe you're supposed to do that. Wait to draft these rooms when you actually have dice, so you know you get what you actually want. I'm going to use a die here, though. It's my last one. I hate how it feels, but I want to do it, man. We're on track so far. It feels like we're on the right track to actually make this happen. I think we're meeting our quota so far. So I kind of want to see if we can make it happen. Shit. Reading Nook versus Workshop versus Archive floor plan. Damn it. Okay. Do we cut our losses finally and say the dead end room dream is dead? Could I still get 20 dead ends if we take, like, I could take an archive floor plan here and take my chances that it's a dead end, and that's probably what I would do if I really want to get 20 dead ends. If I don't do that and I say, you know what, let's take a workshop because now we'll shift gears and we'll try to get our hands on a burning glass to open up that other part of the tomb. And we also need to get a reading nook. Or we could take a reading nook here, in fact, and just try to, you know, we might not get to draft out of the library, but we would get to read Realm and Rune. So that's another option. If we just want to say, all right, the dead end dream is dead once again. If we did that, could we still make it happen? Could I still make it happen if we count the furnace and then 2 dead ends from the dark room? It is optimistic, right? It is optimistic thinking that you're going to automatically get 2 dead ends from the dark room, especially if the dark room ain't lit. 1, 2. But if we assume that, let's assume that we meet that condition. We get 2 from the dark room. Furnace, lavatory is 4. Code check is 5. 1 here from the West Wing Hall is 6. And then let's say we have a dead end from the den that makes 7, 8 with the storeroom, 10 with bunk room. We would need to get 9 more. So we could get like maybe the weight room out of the foundation, and we get like 2. No, but we wouldn't want the dead end out of the foundation. You would want the chapel doors. You would want the chapel doors to be a dead end. At the same time, I might be closer than I realize, because I just took a moment to think about if we continue extending this, you know, there's some big assumptions that you make here, but let's assume somehow we're able to extend our draft through the chapel. If we got a 3-way room all the way up the chapel, and we got every single one of these to become, you know, 3-way room, dead end, just like we have with the gymnasium and the storeroom. So we draft a dead end to the left of the chapel as well. If we do that, then that means we've got furnace, lavatory, storeroom as 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 if we count the rest of the ranks up the west wing. 8 dead ends just on that side of the house. Then you add that to what we have, 9 and 10, coat check Geist bedroom. If we get 2 more from the dark room, that would put us at 12. And then we have 14 from the bunk room, and then we have 15 from the tomb. We're actually only 5 away. So there's still a lot that has to go right, but this is maybe not the end of the world, or maybe not as crazy of a possibility as I was thinking. So you know what? I will actually settle for a workshop here. I'll settle for a workshop because we do want a workshop at some point. We'll get an item. Maybe we get a shovel. We'll see what item we get from the workshop. But we can wait. We won't wait, I don't think, actually. We won't wait to draft from the workshop because realistically, I don't know if I'm going to have the steps to go back to all these places that I want to draft. I don't know if I'm going to have the steps that I need in order to hit up all the places that I need to go. Let's do that. Let's see if we can live in that world. Let's just see what happens. Let's keep rolling the dice, and the workshop essentially counts as a roll of the dice. We get a battery. Okay. We have 2 pieces of the puzzle when it comes to making either a jackhammer or a power hammer. Do we have anywhere we want to use the power hammer? It had looked like maybe you could use the power hammer in the clock tower. Maybe that's a wild idea that we should try entertaining, but we need to get a sledgehammer. So we'll see. If we get a sledgehammer or a shovel, we can think about making a one of those inventions. But we can't make anything right now. So I think I have no dice, but I think I go ahead and I take the chance drafting here because I don't really want to come all the way back to this side of the house to draft whatever room we get here. I don't know. Should we wait? How much do I think? How much of a chance do I think there is to get more dice before coming back here? When we've already drafted a Geist bedroom, not that much, especially when we want to avoid drafting a boudoir. Let's just draft this room and see what we get. Wow, it does. Oh my God. Actually gives us a library. Interestingly. I feel like we've been getting a natural library so often. Okay, I don't know what time it is right now. It's not 1:30 again, I don't think. But I'm going to take the clock tower. Because, if we make a power hammer, then, hey, we get to come right back to where we want to investigate with it. So, but I guess we should check the clock tower to see what resources there are. Because there are, stopwatches and silver keys and things like that. And maybe somehow we get lucky and there's a sanctum. A sanctum key. Maybe. Have I ever looked? I've never looked actually at these gears down here from the bottom. Is there something I'm supposed to notice on these? I can't interact with the big pendulum, can I? I have passed by it before thinking like, yeah, that's swinging dangerously close. Right up in your face. I don't think we can interact with it though. What time is it actually? What time is it actually? It's not as far away from the sacred hour as I thought. Would you believe it? There's actually a shovel here. That's kind of amazing. You know what? We're gonna make a jackhammer because that can potentially dig up dice for us. We're making a jackhammer. Awesome. That's cool. We kind of lucked into a jackhammer. All right, so otherwise, that's the first time we've seen a shovel in the clock tower. Interesting. It sure feels like there's supposed to be something that happens here at 1:30, but it didn't last time, so I don't know what to make of the clock tower just yet. So we're moving on. I will note, during my notes review, I noticed an interesting thing about this note. The fact that the first letter of every line spells sacred. I don't know how it helps me, but I do see sacred on the note. The rest of the note, though, I still don't know what to exactly make sense of. How to make sense of it. Rogue like the moon of the north. I noticed in my note review there is this rogue moon that's talked about from the classroom, the geography sheet that's on the classroom wall in grade 4. Talks about a rogue moon. But how does that help me? What is this note trying to tell me? It's got the sigil core for Arinda. How does it help me? I don't know. I don't know. I did note that this pottery piece, I think it actually has the violet sigil or border. I think this is the violet border that we've seen in the torn pages of Realm and Rune. Hopefully we'll see the full pages soon enough. I just don't know what the rest of the sigil is supposed to look like, but this seems like if it's violet, that's got to be a Raja. And a Raja, that's got to be the sigil. We're seeing part of the symbol of a Raja here, I think. And that sort of makes sense if we connect this to the fact that the swan, that's Lady Epson. Her symbology is the swan, or the symbol of her house. It's actually the crest of their house, isn't it? The swan. House Epson. Okay, we picked up a shovel, which means we get a jackhammer. I'm just gonna go ahead and make that jackhammer. Because like I said, I want dice. I also want gems. And we get both of those with a jackhammer. I also kind of need keys. I only have 2 keys, but we do have the key card. So it's kind of close between a regular shovel and a jackhammer, but I think the potential for dice makes that very tempting. Okay, so now I think we go ahead and we draft this as well. But I could go, we're very close to the foundation. I will take the opportunity to dig up the dice. I hope dice. I'll dig up the foundation dig sites and see what they give me. Gems, okay, good. That actually gives us 3 gems, are you serious? I forgot it gives us more than just 1 gem at a time. Oh, that is so... Okay, I kind of forgot how good the jackhammer is. All right, no dice, but lots of gems. I might actually draft from here, actually, now that I think of it. As opposed to going back to... Why don't we go... How do we want to do this? A weight room from the foundation to the right. Drafting out of the foundation to the right, that's like the ideal spot for a weight room. If I get a weight room there... Well, but I said it sort of conflicts with the chapel, but I think maybe it still is okay. Like maybe I might still be able to draft 20 dead ends and still have a little bit of overlap between some of these doors, but I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe I have to live in a world where... I guess I could draft an elbow that points downward. I don't have to get a weight room here. I don't have to get a weight room. Maybe I don't have to get a weight room at all. I don't know if I desperately need the doors from the weight room. So why don't we just... Where do I want to go next? Because there are dig sites out in the tomb as well that I could go to get dice from, but that would be some extra steps. Let's try drafting this door, or the doors from the foundation. Maybe they're locked. Let's at least see if they're locked. We'll start with the east-facing door. It is locked. So let's try the north-facing door and see if it's locked as well. This one is unlocked. Aha, and that's where we get the weight room offered. Okay, that's the weight room, right? Has to be the weight room. And I think I will take it here. I think I will take it. We go down to 28 steps. So we're drafting dead ends. So any bedroom we get gets us steps from our sleeping mask. We can't get a master bedroom on this side. Spare master bedroom's not good enough because it's not a dead end. 28 steps. Yeah, like the normal things that you get from... The normal things that get you steps. The kitchen and the bedrooms. Yeah, maybe this is not as bad. The weight room is still probably fine here because a dining room is a three-way room that helps your dead end strategy, and it gets you a whole bunch of steps. That is still out there. This would be our last. We'd actually have drafted every single red room available to us. The other nice thing about the weight room is it probably has security doors. Much higher chance of security doors. So those are additional procs for our experiment. So I think I'm gonna take it. I think I'm gonna take the chance. We're taking the chance. We're taking a risk. It's a risky decision, but it is one that could end up in us getting a whole bunch of security doors. Well, it does get us a bunch of security doors, but it could also get us a bunch of dead ends. Those things could all be good. Okay, we get to open both of these security doors. Let's also do our antechamber lever, just in case we want to go to room 46. We still need to open the rogue moon door. So, we'll see if that happens or not. I think that red note is still one that we don't trust. Is there anything new on this note here that I haven't seen before? I don't think so. Was there any item in the weight room? Let's go ahead and draft. Yeah, this is where I don't think it matters that much. Let's draft upward and see what we get. Don't overthink it too badly. Okay, all right. Now, if you have to take a spare master bedroom to get your steps back up, maybe that's what you do. And I like the fact that I can still see a world where we could live the dream. We could live the full dream of 20 dead ends and have a spare master bedroom in here. It could happen. If I were picking an observatory here, I feel like it makes it a lot harder to do things if we take an observatory. It makes it tougher. A standard single gem floor plan. No idea what that could be. Maybe I do have an idea if I actually took the time to think about it. Could be a commissary. Could be a courtyard. Could be a drawing room. Could also be a solarium, I think is standard. That's a pretty wide range of things that either could be three-way rooms that we're happy with, or they could really screw us over. I kind of don't want a dead end here, right? I don't want a dead end just yet. I think what I do is I take the spare master bedroom and we don't go in yet. We just try to live in a world where eventually we make it back here and we've been able to fill in enough dead ends in other places in the house where this actually works out for us. I think that's what we do. Let's take it. This is also a nice way for us to refill our steps. Now, our experiment was successful, but it only got us a gem, which is unfortunate. I was hoping for dice or a key, but dice in particular are awesome if we can get them. So let's see if we can get a die from this other door in the weight room. There is a closet, but that's not quite what I want here. A commissary is also not quite what I want anymore, but it does have a magnifying glass. We would still need a metal detector to be able to make a burning glass. The commissary could have both of those. It could have a metal detector as well. It's just that it's not a dead end. And it doesn't really point in the right direction. If the commissary pointed up, I think I would take it. I think I would settle for that. I might end up settling, though, for the closet instead. What do we do here? It really is making things, it's going to make things tight. Things are going to be tricky if we don't exactly. We would have to probably edit our game plan. Our game plan would change a little bit as we draft up the East Wing once we do make our way back around. Hopefully we have enough steps to make our way back around and draft up the East Wing. There's still a lot of ifs about this 20 dead end thing, especially once you've taken a weight room. So it may still be a total pipe dream. But if I take a closet, then I've got to hope that I'm able to draft sufficiently through the rest of these rooms with just the spare master bedroom here and also the chapel doors. Okay, I think I will take the closet. I think I'll take it, and I'm gonna, oh, this is gonna be weird. This is gonna be a little bit weird. I'm hoping we can still make this work, but man, it's gonna come down to what we get out of this spare master bedroom. I would probably feel a lot better if I had like a silver key. If we could get our hands on a locksmith and giving us a silver key to guarantee us a whole bunch of doors out of one of these rooms where we absolutely need to have a whole bunch of doors. That's probably what this is going to come down to. I'm going to do it though. I'm going to take the risk. We might also get a die from the closet. It's another reason to strongly consider it here. So let's see what our experiment proc is. We do get a die. And we actually get a silver key from the closet. That could be awesome. That could be actually a lifesaver. Okay, so we're down to 25 steps. And our options are seemingly a little bit limited. We still have that dark room as well that we're hoping is a dead end. But why don't we see, with one die at our disposal, now is when we should probably go back and draft the 2 dead ends, or we hope they're dead ends, from the den as well as the West Wing Hall. Now the den doesn't have to be a dead end. The den here could be like a showroom, would actually be kind of low-key amazing, because then we could draft showroom dead end and then have West Wing Hall be a dead end. So I don't have to draft the den just yet. I kind of have to have the West Wing Hall kind of has to be a dead end, question mark? So maybe I'll draft it first. Maybe I will draft there first, but again, it probably doesn't matter all that much. I just do need to be wary of steps. Steps is kind of a concern. Shit. Do I take the gamble with the archive floor plan here? Or do I say, all right, I'm going to try to live with one less dead end, but I'm going to take the steps and I'm going to take the dice? Because a boudoir is not a bad room at all. It is not a bad room at all for our circumstances, other than it doesn't count as a dead end. But maybe the boudoir is one room that I make an exception for. I think maybe we do. It gets us steps, and the dice in particular are so useful here if we really want to get things maneuvered the way we want. So we live with one less dead end, but I think we should still be able to get there. Given the circumstances, I don't think I take the gamble on the archive floor plan. I think I take the dice. As with any draft decision, I may end up regretting it very soon, but I think this is the right call. All things considered. Now, do I draft from here and try to get, I think I draft from the den still, because either I get a straight through room or a dead end from the den. But then again, I could make the argument from the boudoir, either I get a dead end or I get an elbow that goes to the right. But the thing is, I do want there to be a showroom. I'm hoping, I would love to see a showroom from the den. I want to live in the world where I have a chance to get a straight through room that connects to a dead end down here on rank 4. And if one of those, if that is the, I mean, there's not that many straight through rooms left, so it would have to be a showroom. I think we draft from the den. I think we draft from the den. And I might spend a die or two here. Potentially. I think I spend a die. I don't want to take the risk that this is like an elbow that goes into the foundation. It could be a dead end. These are, we've got our common nook. This could be a common dead end. But I don't think I want to take the chance. Do I? I honestly don't think I have any common dead ends left if I'm being honest. We've used the storeroom. We've used the Geist bedroom. I think that's it. And the closet. I think we've used our common dead ends. So this is not a dead end, I think. I think we can safely say that. I think I got to use a redraw here. I got to use a redraw. Okay. A den is not ideal. It's not ideal. It is one of my three-way rooms that I would rather use in a different part of the house. But I think I might have to settle for it. I don't want to use another die here. So I think I do. Now is when I can see we actually kind of need Draxus the Dead. I don't know if we're going to get there without Draxus the Dead. Maybe I should have taken that observatory. Because I'm starting to feel we need to look at our I'm gonna take the den here. I'm gonna take it. Yes, I'm convincing myself exactly what I'm gonna do here. Let's look at our room directory and think this through, because dead ends that we have left, a lot of them are rare, I think. The walk-in closet, the walk-in closet is common. That is a common that's left. But the attic is rare. Rotunda is not a dead end. I don't know why I was thinking about that room for a second. The garage we still have if we can draft the right direction on the west wing. The wine cellar is unusual. The vault is it's actually rare. And it doesn't even help us that much. But we have a lot of gems now, so it's probably fine. The study would be a great pickup, but we made it unusual. We put it back to unusual in the conservatory. Does the Chamber of Mirrors count? It says dead end in quotation marks. I don't know if it counts. Utility closet is standard. Sauna, we haven't added to the pool yet. Mailroom is unusual. Freezer is rare. There are so many dead ends now that are left that are not commonplace. The nursery is common. Servants' quarters, though, is unusual. We probably aren't going to get her ladyship's chamber or master bedroom. We'll see. Maybe the master bedroom happens. There's no dead-end hallways, unless the secret passage counts as one. It says dead-end in quotation marks. How do I know whether... Should I look at my... Maybe I'm going to look at my my screenshots to see if these... Does a secret passage actually count as a dead end, or a chamber of mirrors actually count as well? Because if so, that changes things dramatically. Actually, I think we have this in the house history. It does show, right, I don't have to look at my screenshots. I can also look at the house history, because the house history does count dead ends when you have enough of them. So here, we do have the secret passage. So how many dead ends do we actually have? Let's just count what I think of as dead ends first. Trading post, coat check, Geist bedroom. Let's see, that's 3. Bunk room is 2, which makes 5. Storeroom 6. Attic is 7. Freezer is 8. Garage is 9. Furnace is 10. Solarium is 11. Walk-in closet is 12. Mailroom is 13. Yo, the secret passage does count. That's really interesting. Now, we haven't gotten offered a secret passage today, have we? Did we get offered a secret passage and I already skipped one? I don't remember. I don't think I did. But it looks like that counts. So if you do actually draft a room that says dead end in quotation marks, it actually counts. Okay. Now, the secret passage is 1. How many others would that actually apply to? The Chamber of Mirrors we pointed out already, but I'm not sure if there's any other rooms outside of those two that have this multiple classifications going on. I did forget about the dormitory. It is standard rarity, but we haven't seen it offered yet today. Does the mechanarium count? It does not. Not counted as a quote-unquote dead end. So, this may just not happen. That might be the thing that we have to accept. That you can't get everything that you wish for, potentially. So why don't we just draft through the den and see what happens? Let's just draft through here, and if we get something cool, then we're celebrating, and if we don't, then, you know, I guess we have to make a decision if we're going to use a key. I guess that's a decision, because we also have a locked door here from the foundation. So now we do have to start thinking about using our keys in the correct spots. Let's go ahead and do it, though. I don't see how saving a key here. Eventually, like, these other doors, the spare master bedroom very well could be locked, and both of these doors from the chapel could be locked. So, you know, we're gonna have to get keys. One way or the other, it's gonna have to happen. Ah, that's not what I wanted to see. That's not helpful to me at all. The corridor, that's a key, if it actually went to a room that I could draft from. I guess I settled for an archive floor plan here. I don't think I want to use a die. I don't know. I don't think we're getting a dead end, though. The corridor is common, right? So this is going to be another common room to the left of it. And if it's not a walk-in closet, I don't think there's any common dead ends left. There's a nursery, but they both cost a gem. Nursery and walk-in closet would both be listed over here to the right because they have a gem cost. Maybe I just use a die. I actually maybe just use a die because this is the situation that I've put myself in. I need, you know, I would like to see a lock room or a locksmith from this die. That would be a pretty good pickup. I'm gonna use a die. I don't know, guys. Library versus pool versus Gamba. If we take a library, we get to read Realm and Rune. We do get to do that. Is it time to shift gears and once again admit defeat on the 20 dead end front? This is tough, dude. This is a tough one. I don't know if going the furnace route, the way we did it, is the ideal way. But what is the ideal way? Having Draxus the Dead might be required. Having Draxus the Dead, because there's so many. Either that or the Solarium. You have to have some way of getting these rarer dead ends to show up, because otherwise they're just not going to show up. Like, both the library and the pool are rooms that I would be interested in if I'm just doing a normal draft, because I'd be like, library, we get to read Realm and Rune. The pool, there's 2 chests, there's swim trunks. We get to get more keys or dice in those trunks potentially. But because we've got this, I've got in this mode of trying to get 20 dead ends when we've got the chance to get that. I don't want to give up on that. And we've got one more die. We've got one more die still. I'm going to use it. I could look very... I always just try to get too much out of a draft. That's probably my problem, is just trying to do too much. Although some drafts, we do it all. Some drafts, we do get to do it all. So I just might not get to get a library if I'm completely, stubborn about things here. Because I could run out of keys, and we may not get to a chance to read Realm and Rune today. But if we don't, there's always tomorrow. There's always a new draft. So let's just use the die, and I kind of need a locksmith anyways. I probably, maybe it's the smart move to even redraw, to just use the redraw and try to get a locksmith, because we kind of need keys at this point. Even with a key card. All right. Okay, all right. Well, what do I settle for here? A commissary probably doesn't get me keys, but it would get me a magnifying glass, and it could get me a metal detector. I'm probably supposed to take the commissary now. Could take a risk with the archive floor plan to try to shoot for a dead end, but if we take the commissary, we could still get 20 dead ends. It's possible that it happens. It's possible. The observatory getting us Draxus the Dead, though. The thing is, I don't know for certain what we would be getting with our 45 or 46 stars, whatever it's up to now. I just don't know for sure. So let's take the commissary, and we'll start to hedge our bets a little here, because this will get us one portion at least of a burning glass. So sadly, no dead end here, but the commissary is still okayish. It's still okayish. There is in fact a key. Okay. little a little taken aback by that. That's awesome. I'll take my magnifying glass. Thank you very much. And I will definitely take my key. I can get more than one of these? I thought this was a one-time thing. I will take at least 3. Okay, that's the max. You can get 3 keys in the commissary, potentially. Have we not been getting it offered because most days we come to the commissary with just a shitload of keys? Interesting. I don't actually need the gems. I don't need to spend anything on gems just yet, because 50 coins is just the right amount to get us an ornate compass, if we somehow can get a showroom. At the same time, there's a part of me that's starting to get a little bit suspect about this. I'm starting to notice that since we axed the passageway and set it to commonplace, have we seen it offered at all? Have we seen the passageway? Hello? Passageway? Anywhere? Has this been offered? I'm wondering, because now I've noticed today, I happen to have noticed, I haven't seen a showroom. Now, the showroom's standard. It's not going to show up a ton, and we have had the furnace and other things that have, mainly the furnace that's been affecting our draft pool. But not a single time seeing the showroom yet? Is there a possibility, guys, that the axe is bugged? Is the axe, or maybe it's not even bugged, maybe there's a behind the scenes, a hidden debuff that's making rooms that you axe less likely to show up. Is that possible? When will we get our DLC edition Dirigiblocks? When will this happen? When will we get all the things? I don't know. I don't know. This never did happen. Commissary closed from day 12 to day 16. Because it's a red note, of course. Of course, of course. I kind of wish the sale would come around again. Be cool if we did that, like, on a monthly basis. Okay. That was awesome to pick up 3 keys, because now I can feel so much better about drafting the door from the foundation. Because I was like, in my mind, preparing myself for not drafting that door. We're down to 19 steps, but we are about to get a whole bunch of steps through the master bedroom, especially if I add another room through the foundation. So let's do that now that we have a bunch of keys to use. Feels good, man. Feels keys, man. Could also feels gems, man. But I'm not that desperate for gems. Do we just take a risk with the archive floor plan here? There's a lot of single gem rooms that could be dead ends. I think we take the risk. Could be a locksmith. Could be all sorts of things. Let's see what we get. A nursery. That is big time poggers. So we've missed a bunch of value in the drafting of bedrooms to get us steps from those from our nursery. But at the same time, this is still great. Because we get the steps from the nursery itself, we get sleeping mask steps, and we get a banana. All kinds of bananas left around the estate today. Okay, we're gonna need, I think, to get the steps from the master bedroom. And we have a if the door is locked through the master bedroom, it's a perfect place for us to use our silver key. Dude, there was dice in here. Oh my god, there were dice in the spare master bedroom. Okay, wow, our resources have taken a turn, have they not, folks? My goodness. No longer short on steps. This is what happens when you're on day 35 of playing Blue Prince. You have resources. All right, do I get to use my... I do. I get to use my silver key in a spot where I want to. Yes. Okay, and we get to draft the vestibule finally. Perfect. Awesome. Let's take a new room, and it's a 4-way room in a perfect spot for it. That is, just mwah. Excelente. Vestibule time. Now, how is this going to work? Because I feel like as soon as I step in here, this door behind us could close. Like, we could have a locked door going back to the master bedroom, because the text on this feels like it could work that way. Whenever you enter vestibule, 3 of the doors in this room unlock, and the 4th one becomes locked. Does that include the door that's directly behind you? Let's find out. Trying to see if there's any special sound or animation that happens here. It does. The door behind us closes. Interesting. Now, I don't know if that means it's locked, but are there any details in this room that are worth examining, right? Is there anything in the vestibule that... Is it vestibule or vestibule? But regardless of the pronunciation, is there anything in this room that can help us in our overall mystery on the estate? Let's at least check the flavor text, although we've read it before in the drafting studio, right? An ornately framed yet modestly sized hall. It had served as the original antechamber. I had forgotten about that detail. The original antechamber in the old days before eventually being removed from the estate for having doors that were prone to becoming stuck. Are we just permanently stuck in here? Which way do I want to go first? Probably doesn't matter. Probably does not matter too much. A garage to the left. Could that be something that we live with? Because we don't get to draft the room on the West Wing rank 7. But could we still get all the dead ends that we could possibly need? Or possibly want? Our current dead end count is 11. If we also assume... So we'd want the dead end... We'd want the dark room to be a dead end. That would make 12. If we go from the vestibule here... You kind of want this room here to not be a garage. If you draft to the left, you want it to be a T-shaped room. And then you draft a dead end up, a dead end down, and a dead end above the vestibule. That's 3 more. And that gives you 15. And then you could draft 5 more through... That's actually realistic, right? So this is an important one here. But also, the thing is, dead ends actually being offered is kind of a tough thing. We're still... we kind of need... Maybe what I need to do is I need to draft to the right in the vestibule. Draft to the right and get an observatory. This is where we draft an observatory that points downward, hopefully. If we don't, maybe we take it anyways because we might need Draxus the Dead to get this done. And the observatory is the only thing that gets us Draxus the Dead. That's how it works. We would have 46 stars. Draxus the Dead is what? 15? I'm not gonna take the time to try to figure out what could be the combination of constellations in a 46-star observatory. We're just gonna live with whatever we get, but I think I will try to draft to the right out of the vestibule first. Okay, there's a showroom. All right, I'll take a showroom because ornate compass, please, 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 pretty please with sugar on top. This does make... It makes things a little awkward in the short term, but if you get an ornate compass, all your problems are solved. Question mark? If you don't get dead ends offered, then your problems aren't solved. But this is part of solving your problems, is getting a showroom that actually gives you an ornate compass. So let's take it. I hope it's guaranteed. I don't know if an ornate compass is guaranteed, but it has showed up pretty much every day. I see it here behind the glass. Does that also mean we can buy it? Yes, it does. Okay. These other ones are nice, but we can think about them later. First things first. There's going to be more gold in the tomb, so that's one thing to consider, but the drafting compass here. The ornate drafting compass, oh my god, my precious. My Gollum over here, my precious. The ornate compass, you cannot live without it. Okay, so... Do I draft through the showroom? Or do I still... Because now that I have an ornate compass, being able to put T-shaped rooms where I want them becomes so much more feasible. Why don't we... We have 2 dice. If I were to get... Let's say I got an observatory here. The observatory, and we point the observatory up. And then we hopefully get a dead end up there. That's a big hope. We have to see what we get from the observatory. But let's assume we get observatory plus a dead end. That puts our count at 12. We would be in a spot where... Could we still make that happen? I don't know if we can go observatory dead end. I think the showroom might need to be a dead end. Because if we're at 12... We're at 11 right now. If we get 12 with the dark room, and we get 3 more with the vestibule, that puts us at 15. We would need to fill in 5 dead ends here, somewhere. One of them could be a secret passage, but that would be... We'd have to be on the lucky side to get either a secret passage or... I mean, a chamber of mirrors would pretty much be a dead end. Because you can't... the chamber of mirrors, you won't be able to get the resources out of the chamber of mirrors and also do what you want to do. You can't get 20 dead ends because you would need so many elbows and other rooms to connect to the other sides of the chamber of mirrors. It just wouldn't work to be able to get into the actual room itself, but you could draft it as a dead end. Assuming it works the same way as what we counted on this, what we did on the floor history here with the secret passage. Let me just double check this to be sure. Yeah, the count, the 14 dead ends does include a secret passage, so I would presume that it also includes a chamber of mirrors. Now, that's all beside the point, because the real point is that in this set of rooms here that's left on the west or the east side, you'd have to get 5 dead ends. And you kind of would need them to be... You would need, from the chapel, you could get... If you did T-shaped rooms all up the east wing, you kind of need your 5 dead ends to be right here, don't you? Either that, or there's like a straight through room here and a dead end here. But one way or another, you've got to get 5 dead ends. But I guess you could do, if you did elbow and dead end up here, you could have dead end, dead end, dead end, and then a dead end over here. You could still get 5. So maybe we draft this showroom like I was thinking, and we get an elbow at the very least that points upward. And hopefully it's an observatory. Do I do that? Let's find out if it's locked. It is locked. So we could wait on this decision, but I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and draft this room. We're going to unlock this door, and either we get a dead end or we get an elbow that points us upward. That's what I'm going to aim for here. Let's see. Or we just get a passageway. Or we just get a passageway and all our problems are solved. Interesting. That is a passageway. Or it is a library. There is a library here. And a library gets us less common rooms, including less common dead ends. And it would get us a chance to read Realm and Rune. I'm probably supposed to take the library. But the passageway is interesting because it sort of changes around the game plan a little bit here. Because now I can theoretically draft a whole bunch of dead ends in this direction. This might make things easier, but keys are a concern. When you have so many doors that you're putting at rank 8, there's definitely a key concern. No pun intended. A library into a locksmith. That could be a game plan. I don't have any coins right now, though. I spent them all getting my ornate compass. But there are a whole bunch of coins out in the tomb. And we have steps to go get them. I am devoting so much brain power to trying to make this 20 dead end thing happen. I'm not sure how much I have to devoting, absorbing information from a new book, Realm and Rune. It might, if we did take a library, I might just take like a bunch of screenshots and we read it like next time. I think I will do that because I like the idea of getting the less common rooms. Like this, I think, buffs the chance of us getting a dead end up in this part of the house. So, and I'm not a big fan. We did get the passageway offered. It's so funny Because I just talked about my conspiracy theory about the axe, and the game is like, what's that you said? Here, let me give you both a showroom and a passageway back to back. Make you look like an absolute dingus. Okay, let's take the library. Let's take it. It's pointed in the way I want it. It's pointed up in the way that I want it. And what we will do for now is I'm not going to read Realm and Rune just yet, but we will take a whole bunch of screenshots. I'm going to take my screenshots here and move my magnifying glass so it's not blocking these screenshots. Let's move over to this side. And we will hope to, if we can't make it directly back to the library, then we will be, I might pull up my screenshots on Steam, and we will look at them all as part of, ooh, this is some interesting notes that I'm skimming here. Definitely stuff I want to dig into, but we might do it at the end in my Steam screenshots if we can't make it back directly to the library. But this is definitely, oh, it gives you information directly on Fen Ares, but then no more. It only gives you a breakdown of the types of transportation, weather, society, and banner that Fen Ares has, and then that's all she wrote. The rest you have to piece together on your own, which we shall try to do. Is there anything that I want to use the magnifying glass for? It doesn't seem like there is anything, no new clue style hidden or barely legible text that you can only see with the help of a magnifying glass, I don't think, unless these motes are something you're supposed to look a little closer with. The motes seem to be about the same, though, with or without the magnifying glass. So I think that's good enough for now. We will return here if we can, but I want to keep the draft going for now and see what we get. I'm guessing this door is going to be locked. It's not. It is not locked. Instead, we can get either a mailroom or a laundry room. Probably would take one of those over. Yeah, a laundry room could be really good for us, actually, because that's basically the same as a locksmith, right? I just take a laundry room, and we can come back here if we need to once we've gotten our hands on some more coins. Perfect. It's a dead end where we wanted, and it essentially fills the role of a locksmith. So I feel good about that. Laundry room it is. Is there anything on the laundry room table? I don't think I see an item there. Maybe there's an item on the other side. Is there an item on the other side? Should we spend the extra steps to see? I think we're going to come back here eventually. So we're going to save those steps for the moment, because we're going to need to come back. So let's, for now, see what we can get through the vestibule and find out what is... We want to spend our steps unlocking doors in the vestibule, right? That's how you want to play this. I think we now go for the West Wing. That's actually locked. Okay, so now we'll take this door. And, man, we really need to get dead ends, but we don't have Draxus the Dead online, right? So it might not happen. We might just have to live with the fact that we didn't draft an observatory earlier when we should have. We ended up we still ended up with a bit of jankiness here. We had a boudoir and a den and a commissary here. We didn't have a single dead end in this spot, and our dream is still alive. So we can afford, if we pick our spots, we can afford to pick up an observatory. And maybe that's what you need to do, is you need to, early on in your draft, if you're aiming for this specifically, and maybe this is something you do as a late game challenge, once you've done all your sigils and your red letters and you've gotten all this other stuff out of the way, and it's like, now I want to fill out my trophy case. Now I'll focus on specifically doing 20 dead ends and not worrying about trying to have all sorts of things happening where you're trying to open up a new door in the tomb and reading Realm and Rune and all sorts of other stuff still. But either way, let's draft upward from the vestibule and see what is offered. That's a study. Yo, we get the dead end that I was hoping we'd get. Okay, the dream is alive, guys. I don't know how many of these gems we're going to be able to use for redrawing, but that is at least a study. And I think we'll step in the study because there's at least a gem to get. And there's some coins to get as well. That's cool. There's at the very least the gem. And we also get the re-roll in the vestibule. We re-roll which door is locked. I don't know if it changes which door is locked. 3 of the doors in this room unlock, and the 4th one becomes locked. That could just be a straight-up re-roll where you could get really unlucky, and the same door just keeps getting locked and just standing in your way. We'll see what happens here. Now, what I could do, you could see if, like, the door behind you is one that reopens. Let's just open the door here. Let's just open the door here. Okay, that's a conference room. Dude, all right. Stuff is happening. If we're gonna get this, if we're gonna get the dead ends to happen, we need a conference room. I would be interested in an armory because it has the potential for having a torch. But I can't take it yet if I want to get the, if I want to get 20 dead ends. Oh, man. The problem is now, the problem is I don't have too many dead ends left in my pool that are not, like I got really lucky there getting the study. But are we going to keep getting lucky and get a vault and get an attic? I don't know, man. Again, this is kind of a decision point where you say, either I try to live the dream or I cut my losses and go for a torch when I know I've got the tomb that I need to light some candles. That being said, there's still a gamble with the armory. The torch is not guaranteed. So you're gambling in either case. We've come this far. We have come this far. We've made it, and the dream is still alive. I'm going to keep rolling the dice. I'm going to keep trying to live the dream with a conference room. So, and we've got 2 dice right now, and we've got plenty of gems. We may not be able to open the doors in the conference room, but there could be security doors. Let's take a look and see. We've still got plenty of steps. No security doors. Are there any items by any chance? Is there any low case clue on this one? There's no lowercase word at all on this note. And even if there was, I have no idea how you would factor it in to another puzzle. So there's nothing else to see unless I've missed another note on the conference room table. I don't think I have, though. And I still don't know what all this has to do about conference notes and office safe. That seems to be a red herring right along with this safe code. All right, we might as well see if either of these doors open. Key isn't required. Key is required. Key is required. This one is not. Key is required, but... Ah, wait a second. There's a 3-gem floor plan. Yo. That's got to be a dead end, right? It's either a vault or it's a attic. And either one of those is pretty dang good for us. The vault would be useful here because we have stuff to buy in the showroom. And actually, we would probably buy a chronograph because that makes dead ends more likely, doesn't it? Tomorrow rooms. Okay. I think we take this no matter what. I'm going to check my spreadsheet here very quickly, but I don't think there are any 3-gem rooms. We can't get the cloister here unless there's another bug that has surfaced. But I think we are only allowed to draft or be offered. Would the rotunda be offered? I don't think so. Because I think the rotunda also, because it can rotate in every direction, it also would meet the same restriction of being up against the west wing. So I want to say it's down to the attic and the vault. So we slam dunk it, right? We're running low on gems, but maybe we're going to be right back up on gems if we get an attic. Let's find out. It's a vault. The vault feels like it's more common than an attic, even though they're both rare, right? But I do feel like we've seen, it's not even a feeling. Like we can check and see that literally, I think literally the amount of times we've seen the attic is half the amount of times that we've seen the vault. So there you go. For whatever reason, the vault has been more common for us. We're going to need these coins, so let's take them. We can definitely make use of these coins. We wouldn't be able to buy both the moon pendant and the chronograph. Just yet, at least. There's nothing else to get in the vault yet, so far as I can tell. It does allow us to close this door. I don't think I'd noticed that before, but I don't think it helps me either. And unless there is just an unlocked box that I haven't happened to notice, then I don't think there's anything else to do in the vault until we find another vault key, which it seems like there might be, because apparently there's a Sanctum key to find in here. Okay, all right. So 43 coins. Now that actually, I forgot we have the laundry room as well. We have the laundry room to be able to play with some coins, some coin shenanigans. If we decided to spend, we could go ahead and buy the chronograph, and then we'd have 13 coins, which we could use in the laundry room to swap keys for coins. How much does that cost? I think that costs 10. So we would end up with 5 keys and 2 coins. Let me just confirm this. Go to the laundry room. Keys for coins is 10. It's keys for gems that's only 5. But I don't think I would want to do that. The other option is to go back out to the tomb, right? We've drafted a fair number of items now, of dead ends. I think the upshot of this is that I can do stuff in the laundry room to get myself more keys, and therefore coins are going to be spread here instead of the tomb. It says spread 5 coins in the tomb. I didn't even think about that. Every dead end that we draft gets us 5 coins in the conference room. Bro, that is OP. Okay, so I don't know if I should even have picked those up. In this case, I think it's fine, because this is actually better. This is better for us. This is better for us, right? Yeah, this is better for us. One way or the other, this is better. And we're going to use the key here to draft this room. Don't overthink it. Yo, oh no, it's a freezer. Okay, but we have a furnace. We have a furnace that we can go melt our assets. So we take a freezer. We're getting lucky, guys. We're getting the rarer rooms that are offered here. We just will need to go unfreeze our assets. But we have steps to do that. This is fine. And we can pick up the coins in the tomb on the way back, can we not? It's just a question of... I think we do that because we can buy an extra thing in the showroom. We can get this to work. We can get this to work. I will take a moment here, though, to think through what my steps situation is going to look like. But we're going to have to head back around to get to the... We're going to have to head back to draft through the chapel anyways, right? But I want to go back to the laundry room to get keys first. So we would need to make a couple trips here, and the step situation is going to start to dwindle a little bit. Okay, I think I know how I'm going to do this. Because I can actually swap gems for keys first. I can spend an additional 5 coins to give myself 6 keys. And that should be enough to get me through the rest of the house. And then I can swap coins for gems. Wait a second, I can't swap coins for gems though, can I? No, I can. I can do coins for gems for a cost of 5. I can do that. So I do what yeah. that works out much more cleanly because then I have a whole bunch of gems that I can use for rerolls. And I don't need, because I don't need to give myself infinite keys. This is how I can do this. This is totally how I can do this. And I can do that after I've picked up a whole bunch of gold from, I thaw out, I take a freezer, I go back to the furnace to unthaw my assets, I go to the tomb to get the gold from the tomb, and then we come back to the showroom, buy the stuff there, and buy the stuff in the laundry room, and then we go back to draft the rest of the house. This is where, though, I need to take a moment. Let me take a couple minutes here and think through what is my steps situation, because that's a few back and forths. Will I still have enough to do what I want to do? I am realizing that this is going to be a little bit dicey. This is not going to be the cakewalk that I thought. Because if my math is right, and even if it's a little bit off, it's fine. If I do all this, if I go to the furnace and I come and then I go to the tomb and then I go back to the laundry room and then I come back all the way around to the chapel, that's going to cost me like 45 or 47 steps. Somewhere around 45 steps. It's enough, but I'm going to be down to 7 steps. I would need to pick up some sort of some fruit. I would need some fruit or a dining room, but I would have probably a lot of redraws to be able to get myself a dining room. Because we do have a study now, and so gems, if we have a lot of them, we should have a lot of them from swapping all of our coins eventually for gems. So that shouldn't be a problem. I think we take the risk, right? It's just a risk we got to take. It's part of doing business, and we try to make it work. I don't think I can get any more steps from dig sites because I do have a jackhammer now, and that's not going to dig up turnips. So that is one downside to taking the jackhammer. But I'm hoping that with the redraws that we have, we should be able to get our hands on some more steps. So hopefully I've accounted for everything here correctly. Let's take a freezer. In the worst case scenario, I just look like a dingus, and it's not the first time it's happened. We don't have any reason to go in the freezer because our assets are already frozen, and we don't have a torch to thaw anything out. So what we do, we don't pick up the coins from the conference room because, well, they just go to waste. But I also don't know that I'm picking them up if I come back here. I don't think I do. I think I just spend the steps. Those 5 extra coins are not going to be worth it, I don't think. All I'm going to do is go straight to the furnace. That's the first step here. So let's go first to the furnace. Oh, but I do have this thing with the vestibule, don't I? This is a trick here that oh my god. It's actually locked the door. This is still going to be fine, I think. It's still going to be fine. I'm just going to end up with 0 coins instead of 1. But this is one complication here. I actually had not... The vestibule could actually screw me over. I hadn't thought about this because I'm going to use my 1 key here. Unless I decide to use 2 steps to go out of this room and back in. This is really annoying that it could lock a door behind you that you need to get through. Let me take a moment and double check my step counts here to see if I can spare the 2 steps rather than spending a key. At the same time, I can always do the same thing when I come back. I'm just thinking about when I come back to the vestibule to go to the laundry room, I might need to spend a key then, but I would rather just spend a key now and save 2 steps, I think. I think that's fine because we're going to end up with 6 keys no matter what once we do the swap in the laundry room. So the important part here right now is to save as many steps as possible. So maybe we get lucky. Maybe we completely get lucky and we're able to navigate all the way through without using any more keys. So let's go next to the furnace. And we will get to, as well, dig up the dig site in the furnace, although that's not going to give us a key. That doesn't matter too much, though, Gems are actually fine. That gives us that much more keys. I would much prefer dice, but you know, the dice are still pretty rare even with the jackhammer, it seems. So now from here, we're going to go, I think, back to... We do what we said, right? Although, are we going to go to the tomb? Let me just take a moment and double check my step counts here, because maybe maybe I take a rain check on the tomb. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, checking my count again. If I do make a stop at the tomb to get the gold there, and we go back to the laundry room to swap gems for keys and then coins for gems, we, what am I getting lost in thought here? We still end up with, we have about 8 steps when we get to the chapel. It's gonna be 34 steps if the vestibule plays 100% nice with us. The vestibule still could screw us over. At least once. But even if it does screw us over once, we can step out and step back in to spend 2 of those steps. So we end up at the chapel with, at worst, like 6 steps, but we have a whole bunch of rerolls with the study. So I think we take that risk, because if we don't go to the tomb, we're spending 30 gold for a chronograph. We're spending 30 gold for a chronograph that... I still haven't drafted the dark room, by the way. That's another little wrinkle here, is I gotta figure out a way to get to draft the dark room, which I could do while I'm here, but then I never lit up the dark room. I was hoping to get a utility closet by this point, but that didn't happen. So the dark room is a shot in the dark, and if we don't get a dead end there at the dark room, all bets are off. I don't think we can actually do what I want to do. I think the best we can possibly hope for is 4 more dead ends up this east wing, 4 at most, and then we would have to get 1 more here in the dark room. So I'm thinking we have to live in this world where we somehow get our hands on a dining room up here, and that gives us enough steps to be able to come back down and draft the dark room, hopefully after we've done a utility closet. Now I could completely pass on a chronograph, right? I might say, let's not draft the chronograph at all, and then that means I don't go through the tomb to get... I don't go to the tomb to get the extra gold. I just take the gold that I've already got, and I just swap all that for gems. And that's what I end up with. I could do that, and that would save me 4 steps. It would save me 4 steps. Is that worth it? The chronograph is so powerful, isn't it? Because of the ability to... the chronograph plus study is so potent of a combination. I think we take the risk of taking those 4 extra steps. So let's go to the tomb. Just out of curiosity, does the jackhammer also dig up? Does the jackhammer also dig up? Oh, wow, it does not dig up a microchip? Does that mean the microchip is actually in the grotto? Has the microchip been permanently relocated to the grotto? I will not be spending the steps to find out. Probably not today, unless we get our hands on some sneakers or something else that puts our steps at no longer of a concern. But we're going to pick up these coins. Am I doing this right? Yeah, I'm doing this right. Because this might even afford us the chance to buy a moon pendant as well. I haven't done the math yet on the coins. But, okay. So we've got the coins from the tomb, and now we go back to the laundry room. I think my steps situation might be even a little bit better than I was thinking, because I had been counting the elevator ride down as a step. I was thinking that going down from the foundation to the basement counted as a step, but it looks like it actually doesn't. So I think we might actually be like 3 steps healthier than I thought we were going to be. All right, let's see what the vestibule does for us here. Does it screw us over again? No, not this time. This is a fun little set of contraptions, though. I am not looking for details in the vestibule here. Like, I don't know if there's supposed to be anything hidden behind any of these doors. Can I even close these doors once I've opened them? I'm sort of taking it for granted that there's nothing to be found in the vestibule. That could be a big time assumption, because I thought the same thing about the secret passage for a while. So I'll just put it out there right now. Feel free to let me know if there is more to the vestibule that needs to be explored. I'm at that point in the game where I'm starting to be a little bit more open to these sorts of nudges. Okay, we're definitely going to pick up the chronograph. That's going to leave us at 48 coins. We could purchase a moon pendant, and that would leave us at 28 coins. We would swap gems for keys. That would cost us 5 coins and put us down to 23. And then we would have to spend another 5 coins to swap gems for coins, and we would end up with 18 gems. I think I'd rather pass on the moon pendant and give myself 38 gems instead, because we might need a whole bunch of rerolls, because we really need to make sure that we're getting like three-way rooms on most, if not at least 2 of these need to be 3-way rooms, so that I can have the doors I need to draft 4 dead ends. And then I need the rerolls to actually make sure I get dead ends. So we need the rerolls, I think. The moon pendant is a nice thing to have, but it's just a luxury. It is, in this case, a luxury good that I don't think we can afford if we're going to do what we want to do. Okay, no actual items in the laundry room. And unfortunately, we don't have the boiler room powering things up, so we don't get to do any fancy stuff. But we do get our normal laundry services. So we do the wash and dry first, correct? We do wash and dry. That doesn't, that only spends the 5 coins. And we want to make that swap so we have enough keys to open doors. Just taking my time a little bit here to make sure I get this correct. And then we do the fluff and fold, and that does... No, we do the spin cycle. And that does coins for gems. Coins for gems. We go down to 38, and we lose all our coins, but we get a whole bunch of gems. That's fine. I'm okay with that. That is the order that I think is correct. Now, you know, there was a world here where I could take 2 extra steps to go to the conference room to get coins, but I think it was just the 5 coins, and we made that. I've made that decision that the 2 extra steps are not worth it. I am going to, because I might have to spend them here in the vestibule in a moment. Let's find out. Let's find out if this is going to... Okay, we get lucky. So I'm not going to go to the conference room. Even if this store's open, I don't need the coins, do I? Is there any possible thing like, you know, buying fruit in the kitchen for steps you would think could be a thing, except I can't afford to get an elbow room if I'm getting 20 dead ends. I just can't afford it. It is not something that is in my my bailiwick. Are we allowed to use that term here? Okay, so we're gonna have 3 extra steps than what I thought, but we've got a chance to draft 20 dead ends. Could happen, and we have so many redraws now. So let's see if we can make this work. I'm nervous. But we're going to see what happens. Let's head to the chapel. Aha! There was a dig site here that I'd forgotten about in the aquarium, so we'll do... You can actually dig up keys. It's a lot rarer, it seems, when you have the jackhammer, but that actually is a thing you can get. Okay. Should I drop off the crown right now? Because I might not have a chance. I just realized I might not have a chance to drop off the crown otherwise. I spend 2 extra steps. I go to 12. We're in the aquarium with 12. Maid's Chamber, 11. Gymnasium, 8. Chapel, 7. I think I do, because there's no more use for the crown today. And I don't... Like, there's always this thing about, do I check the drafting compass instead? But we get the showroom, theoretically. We get the showroom often enough where I'd much rather have... I want to play more with the Crown of the Blue Prince. It's so good. So let's do that. That was, I had not initially worked that into my logic. I think we do that though. I think we do that instead of any other item. Check that diary key. It's so valuable. Let's leave that there and move on to the chapel and see if we can get a dining room. That's what we need here, basically. At some point, I think we're going to need a dining room. Okay. Interestingly, there are coins in the chapel for whatever that's worth. Anything else? And now, what door do I trap next? What door is more important? I need to get a dead end to the left, and then I need to get a dining room up above. So it probably doesn't matter what order I do this in, especially when I have so many rerolls. Let's draft upward. Let's draft to the north first. And yeah, I think we pretty much have to get a three-way room at a minimum, no matter what. So there is a boiler room, and a boiler room does have dig sites sometimes. It's otherwise not amazingly exciting, other than that it gets us the rooms or the doors that we want. So in that regard, it is exciting. But if I'm getting 20 dead ends, that's the thing, is I do need, because, okay, this is the thing. We can always come back to the boiler room, right? We have a chronograph. This is why we get a chronograph, so we can spend some of these gems. This is why we have 38 gems. So we can spend some of these to, we don't have to worry about rotating any rooms here. We can come back to the boiler room when we need it. Let's redraw to see if we can get our hands on a dining room. And when it doesn't work, we can take the chronograph to rewind, right? That's how we do this. And we don't need to worry about the archived floor plan either, because we know what rooms we have in what order. It's a classroom here, for the record, in the middle. And this was I don't even remember what it was now, because it doesn't matter. You do lose the option to do your rotation with the ornate compass, but like we said, we don't need it. Just noting that for the record, or later on if I need it. Ooh, I do want to draft a planetarium because I've gotten a nudge. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but there's been a nudge that apparently there is something more in the planetarium. And who knows, we might not get enough steps. We might have to call it a day in the planetarium because we might not get the steps that we need to get back to the dark room. So that could be a thing, but not here. I would not take it here because we need to draft a three-way room. But we'll see if we can get a planetarium as one of our dead ends. Back to the boiler room, and we redraw again. East Wing Hall. I don't have to settle for that. I want a dining room. That's what I'm doing all these redraws for, is just to get a dining room, because I need steps. That's what we're doing this for. It's just, there's only one game plan, and until I don't think I have a good reason to deviate from that game plan. Not yet. At least not until I'm out of gem redraws. Not good enough. Not at this point. Gotta do a rewind. And a redraw. This is exciting. This is so exciting. We might have to take a little time sometimes to think through what the archive floor plan would be, but I don't think I would ever gamble. The dining room is free, so I would never gamble on a free archived floor plan to get that instead of a boiler room. Not when I still have one more spot that I could put a dining room at. At least one more. I could theoretically put like the East Wing Hall above this boiler room, and then there could be a dining room to the left of that East Wing Hall, or above it, right? There's room for us to put a dining room still in a few different places. But we might as well spend these redraws because we have so many gems. I just don't want to misclick inadvertently and miss out on my boiler room that I know that I have. 2 more redraws. We'll spend both of them. Oh, we have a gift shop in there as well, which I'd forgotten about. So that's interesting, because the gift shop, that would have been one reason to keep. I should have maybe just kept the East Wing Hall, because it actually can only be drafted on the East Wing. That was actually a misplay. I should have settled for I should have taken the East Wing Hall instead of the Boiler Room, because I can redraw back or rewind back to the East Wing Hall. Hopefully it doesn't bite me. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me. I will rely on the gift shop here because it saves me a gem. Why not save your gems if you can? So we'll do one more redraw and see if we can get lucky with a dining room, and then we'll come back and get a gift shop. I do want a dormitory. That's one other thing I had thought of in terms of steps, but I can't settle for it in this spot. So we take a gift shop. All right, only one thing to do. Only one thing to do. Now we draft this room. And hopefully get a dead end very quickly so I don't have to spend any gems. I don't mind spending keys. None of these are a dead end. This could be a dead end. And we will get to... We should probably do a rewind to see if it is a dead end, right? If we don't get a dead end with the redraw, we can always rewind. That's another reason to have the chronograph, is because now your archive floor plan becomes a lot less of an impediment. That's awesome. There's the passageway again for the record as well. So my conspiracy theory about the axe being disproven. The axe is not bugged. Let's redraw. Not good enough. 2-gem room here is not necessarily a dead end. It's actually probably not a dead end. So we'll rewind and see what that room was over here. Break room. Okay. Let's see if we can get a dead end. Let's see if we can get lucky. We might as well redraw here because there's no reason to go back because there was no dead end on the previous screen. So let's redraw. We might end up using every single one of these gems. And we still might not make it. We still might not get there. It may not. Oh, it covered this one up. No. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Not allowed. You're not supposed to archive the same floor plan twice in a row. Not allowed, man. That's a walk-in closet. Yes. Okay, and that could get us... It could get us a cupcake. Could you... Lady Epson, wherever you are right now. I know we read your diary. I know we pried into your secret sleep diary. And we have been perusing, poking around your corner of the tomb, snooping on all sorts of aspects of your life. But if you're still somewhere looking down on us, would you be so kind as to send me another cupcake? Could I trouble you for one of those? Dang it. Is that a key that I see there? I think I see a gem and a key. Like, I do not want to spend the steps to go in this walk-in closet if there are not... Oh, it's not a bedroom, though. For a second, I thought it was a bedroom because it was connected to Lady Epson. We don't get sleeping mask steps from this. So I don't know what we get instead. I don't see what other items there are. I know there can be an item to the right, but I can't see it from the doorway. So all I can see is what looks like a key. And definitely not a cupcake. So I don't think we have steps for us in the walk-in closet. And I don't need a key or a single gem. Not nearly as much as I need freaking steps. So we're going to go through the gift shop and try to get steps through. Can I get a lunchbox? There's so many lunchboxes that you've got here on the counter. Are you sure you don't want to loan me one of those? Are you sure? Okay. All right. Nowhere to go, but keep on drafting. Still have 25 gems, and there's an East Wing Hall. I should probably settle for that here because, like I said, I can settle for a dining room. But again, I can reroll, right? I can spend redraws here. Let's see. At most, I have 25 redraws total, but I only get 8 per door. But that is... We still could very likely go through all of our gems. So do I decide to spend all my gems here going for a dining room? I don't have to. I still have 6 steps. So I could, like, draft a... Maybe I should have drafted a dead end to the left in the gift shop. I don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to do this to make this as optimal as possible. But I do need to be taking rolls for... I'm going to spend some re-rolls here because we can come back to an East Wing Hall. But I'm going to see if I can get... I'm going to see if I can get my hands on a... Because if we get a dining room, that's all we need. We don't need to get a dining room and an East Wing Hall. If we settled for an East Wing Hall, we still need a dining room, but we don't need to have an East Wing Hall. But we'll settle for it if we have to. It's in the middle, just in case we forget. I like, though, that we're getting these tomorrow rooms. These dead ends are showing up. It's in the middle if you need it. In between a planetarium and a mailroom. Not a ballroom. Can't do that one. Nope. That would be a disaster. When do I use these dice? Do I use the dice here? When do I use the dice, I wonder? I'll keep using the gems for now. A pool. Would I ever settle for a pool instead? Oh, there's a utility closet, though. Shit! I can't take a utility closet here. I can't do it. I have to take a three-way room. Fuck. The pool is actually good, right? Because the pool has a chance to have sneakers. That's not good enough, though. Sneakers is not good enough for me here. Because we're not going to get lucky enough with sneakers to get us back to the dark room. Dang it, I want the utility closet. The pool is not good enough. Even though it does add a sauna, that doesn't get me extra steps today. Not good enough. And I don't need, at this point, I don't need the resources that are in the twin trunks. And the sneakers aren't good enough for me. So we got to rewind. Fuck, the utility closet, though. It's there. It's there. No. No. Oh my god, this is painful. Rewind. I gotta rewind. I'm just starting to doubt whether I should be spending all these gems here because there could be up to 3 more drafts where I could be spending those gems at. So now maybe is where I should use the dice, just in case. Maybe. Because the dice cannot be used to... Now that we're at a point where... Like, if we were at a point where you had like 100 gems, it would definitely be correct to use all your gems first here. Because you're never going to spend all of your gems, but you might go through... You're never going to spend all of your gems over the course of 3 doors after this. But you might have to spend all 8 gems at each door. So because of that, you'd want to save your limited dice, because your dice cannot be, you can't do 2 dice. I think you get what I'm saying. I think you understand the fact that now that we're down to 20 gems, though, now I can basically just roll the dice, and that's the same thing. So I think I do use those here now that we're down to this state. It probably doesn't matter that much. It's probably not that big of a deal. But I will do it. The question is going to be, at what point do I stop rolling gems? I don't think it's yet. Because I have to... We're getting so many tomorrow rooms. We should be able to get one if we get lucky and get a dining room at some point here. We should be able to finish off our draft the right way, even if we don't have maximum rerolls through the study, via the study. Drawing room. That's not a dining room. This could be a dining room. Actually, maybe it couldn't, because the dining room is standard, isn't it? I think we spend all our redraws here to try to get a dining room. Dormitory. Oh, this is not working out the way I want it to. But at least we have these redraws. We at least gave ourselves as many chances as we could. That's what we can tell ourselves when we're in bed later, bemoaning what could have been. Oh, wow. A secret passage, huh? That's still not good enough, though. That's still not good enough because I need the door that goes to the left. I still need the door that goes to the left. And even this doesn't help me because it doesn't get me steps. So that's another strikeout. Okay, we go with the East Wing Hall. We go with the East Wing Hall. And now, I think we draft. Well, we can draft here and try to get a tomorrow room, right? But we don't want to spend all of our gems. Hopefully we don't spend all of our gems. But I will spend a gem here, at the very least. And we get a utility closet. Okay, we'll lock in the utility closet. So, we just need to get some steps. We just need to get some steps. We should take a moment here and count. Maybe I've miscounted my dead ends, but let's make sure how many we have. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The tomb makes 17. And the dark room, if it's a dead end, that would make 18. And if we get 2 more, that makes 20. We are so close to this, but we can't afford to take a kitchen. A kitchen doesn't even really help us that much anyways because we have 3 coins. We can't afford to take a kitchen. We basically have to get a dining room. It has to happen. Now, we still have to get a dead end in the dark room, but we have a utility closet, right? The utility closet lights things up for us now. The dream is alive. We just need this to happen. So what we do is we limit our options. We take like the passageway and other 4-way rooms out of the pool by drafting above the East Wing Hall first, and we spend up to 8 rerolls trying to get a dining room, right? It's still there. I haven't drafted it yet, correct? And I don't think I can do anything else. We have no options here but just to draft through the East Wing Hall and pray. That's it. And I think it's better for us to draft on the wing than flood our pool a little bit more with 4-way rooms and drafting in that direction, right? Let's go up first. Got keys, not a problem. Dude, a rumpus room. A rumpus room. We might settle for this. This could be one that we come back for because it's a rumpus room, right? And we have steps at least to get Alzara. So we wouldn't be able, I mean, who knows? You could take a rumpus room and you might still be able to get a dining room here from the East Wing Hall. You could. Imagine that happens though. Imagine you get the dining room, but it's pointing in the wrong direction. Like it's pointing to the library and it's pointing to the utility closet. Would that be the most troll thing ever? And you've got this one little room back here that's your 20th room, your 20th potential dead end. We got a reroll here, but we can come back to the rumpus room. Or we could come back to the drawing room because the drawing room has a gem. And we'll think about that decision if we, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's a dining room here as well. This is the thing. Maybe there's a dining room here. So let's at least redraw. Okay. We're going to go back. We're going to go back. I mean, if we had to settle for a dead end, we could. But I don't want to do that yet if I can help it. Let's rewind. The stupid archive's still in the way. What if this is a dining room? What if it's a dining room? What if my dining room is right there? What if it's the one? It's not. It's a mailroom. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's redraw again. Let's redraw again. A courtyard. A courtyard. It would have dig sites, but those dig sites are almost guaranteed not to be turnips because I have a jackhammer. I screwed myself over by getting a jackhammer. I might not have ended up with the resources that I do have. if I hadn't taken the jackhammer. So, I'm noticing that the chronograph is kind of in my way. This is a trophy room over here, isn't it? I'm not taking that, but I wonder if I missed before some rooms that were 3 gems. I didn't realize that the chronograph could be covering them up. That's a bit of an unfortunate oversight there, but I guess you can kind of move the text a little bit, and you can see through the chronograph enough to be able to tell if it's a 3-gem room. All right, minor little complaint aside, I don't think we can take the courtyard. It's not going to get us steps. So we rewind. Sag. At what point do I settle for a rumpus room? I don't know. I do not know. I don't... Well, okay. Okay, hear me out. This is a dormitory. This is a dormitory, and we don't have to take a rumpus room and then a dead end. We could just take a dead end. And this would get us steps, and it's a bedroom. This would get us 15 steps, which would be more than enough. Even with a gym in the way, I think it would be more than enough for us to get back to the dark room, wouldn't it? We go in the dormitory and go down to 4 steps, but we come back up to 15. No, we add 15 and we come back up to 19. And the thing is, we could get more steps from the dormitory if we drafted like a drawing room right here and then a dead end. There's still the drawing room or the pool. There are rooms that would get us additional steps in the dormitory. That's the out. I wasn't thinking about this as the out. This is how we do this. We take the dormitory, right? Am I ever a greedy enough bastard where I go back and take a rumpus room and then try to get a dormitory? Am I that greedy of a bastard? I don't think so. I want to talk to Alzara again. I want to see more from Alzara. But I want to make, dude, we are so close to making this a reality. And it almost, I think we're there. If we just follow this through, we still have 12 gems for redraws. This is how we play this. I'm feeling energy now because we should have at least one. I mean, there better be some steps here from other. Oh, we get the nursery as well. Dude, we're set. We are so set. We take a step in because we should get 10 from whatever other drawing room or drafting room that we've done. There's even a key here. Okay, sure. Fine by me. The dormitory. The dormitory was the other out. Yo, I've kind of hated on the dormitory before, and I still don't think it's a great room, but man, it might end up being the MVP for the 20 dead end dream. Okay, all right. Deep breath. 27 steps now. We're doing this, folks. I think we're doing this. There's a planetarium. We can still do redraws. And we only have a max of 8 redraws at the dark room. So I can afford to spend up to 4. Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking do I need to get the drawing room to try to get more steps from the dormitory? What else do I want to do today? I want to go to the utility closet to turn on the lights. And I would turn off the lights in the gym, save myself 2 more steps. So we already recouped the steps from stepping into the utility closet. But is there anything else that we want to do in the house? I took my screenshots for Realm and Rune, so we can read that later. I would want to go back to the freezer if I could. Is there any world where I can make it back to the freezer? If I just go with what I've got right now, let's say I take the planetarium. I'm not going to have any stuff to take back to the freezer, though. Never mind. I'm going to be like dirt poor by the time we're done with this. I'm not going to have any gems to take back to the freezer, so let's not even worry about that. Let's just not worry about it. Calling it a night in the bunk room could be fun. And maybe we could do that because the bunk room is pretty close to the foundation. So here's what we'll do. We're going to spend at least a couple redraws, we're going to spend a couple redraws here to see if we can get a drawing room and get even more steps from the dormitory. I think. Let's do at least one. Let's do at least one. We can afford to spend 1 gem. A corridor is not good enough. I don't care about a corridor. That doesn't do anything for me. So we're going to rewind here. And we know that there's a planetarium on the left. Okay, I was wondering if this might be a drawing room. It's a classroom. So how do we do this? I just want to make sure that we don't, like, we want to get the 20 dead ends thing done. We want to get that done. Do I just take a planetarium and go to the dark room and that's it? Is that all I do? You know what? Even if I actually did the math now, I thought I was going to be well short, but even if I don't get any more steps, I could make it back to the freezer if I really, really, really wanted to. I don't know if I need to, but there's going to be a whole bunch of gold in the conference room is what I realized. That's the thing I just realized, is that we've drafted a whole bunch of dead ends and spread that gold to the conference room. So going straight there, picking up that gold and going and then ending our draft in the freezer, maybe. Or maybe we even have enough steps to go back and end our draft in the bunk room. I don't know. I think it's enough of a reason for me to keep doing a few more redraws here to try to go for a drawing room to get more steps from the dormitory. I think it is worth that small little expenditure. But we at the very least have a planetarium right here if we need it. We can do, I think, at least 2 more redraws and not feel too bad about things. At least 2 is what we can do, and then we'll still have a maximum of 8 for the dark room. A hallway is not what I want. Okay, I think now is where I will settle. We'll just settle for the planetarium, and we will take a moment to step inside the planetarium, because what I've been told is that there is apparently more to see here, and I think I have enough steps to do that. So what could I have potentially missed? What could I have overlooked? It supposedly is something that the game does not hint at. The game does not give you any, apparently, any indication that this is in the planetarium. And it sounded like it was something that was kind of secret. Or maybe well hidden. I'm not sure. So let's just see if there's anything that is easily observable. First and foremost, is there anything that just catches my eye as I'm skimming the room? So far, the answer is no. So I'm wondering, is there anything... Let's look up. Let's look up and see. We do have the planets that are here. I don't think I had noticed those before. And I would presume it does seem, based on what we know from the classroom and now seeing this here, it looks like our solar system has 5 planets. And this is ours, and I think it's called Mora. I could even look at my notes. I could look at my notes to remind myself what I saw in the classroom previously. 4th grade. 4th grade tells me... I'd actually have to look at my screenshots, because I don't have a zoomed-in picture in my notes. But my screenshots, I think, would tell us the other planets here. Now, is that what was overlooked? Is that what I overlooked? Or is there something that we can do with this light fixture? Is there some way to interact with this? Waiting to see my little hand icon pop up out of nowhere. Doesn't seem as though we can interact with it. So is there something then with the chairs that I've potentially overlooked? Some sort of secret, a secret compartment in one of these chairs? Maybe the detail that the commenter was nudging about was just the fact that you can see the planets up in the sky, and I never actually looked up in the sky. I don't know. Is that a thing? We can also check the... I don't know what exactly I'd be looking for on these chairs. How well hidden is this supposed to be? I'm waiting for my mouse cursor to change. I can't, for some reason, walk behind the last row of chairs. So is there anything on the walls that I've overlooked? It is rather dark in here, but I'm not seeing anything on the walls. I'm trying to look for, like, what we saw in the secret passage. D-O-O-R. Any letters that might be really tough to read? Could there be some letters or words that are in the observatory or planetarium ceiling? Or is it just the fact that we've got planets above us? It might just be the planets. Was there anything else on this sheet that I missed? Do I need to look with my magnifying glass to see something overlooked? We've got our new constellation that we're looking forward to once we get up to 50 stars. Not too far away. But, I am not seeing, at least if it's not the planets in the sky, if there's something else here that I'm missing, I'm not seeing it. So if you need to give a more direct nudge, feel free to do so. Because I am not seeing what needs to be seen here. But what I am seeing, I think what I'm seeing are 19 dead ends in our house. And so, and enough steps for me to go back and draft, hopefully, dead end number 20. We have 8 redraws, and we're gonna be turning off the lights in the gym, turning on the lights in the dark room. Don't have to do anything else there. In fact, we would not want to disable the keycard system because, well, I don't think it would matter, except we would see our rarity, right? If we get a security door here in dark room, but we can't get a security room here, can we? Because it's in the first rank. So let's just go to the dark room. I don't think there's anything else we can do. There's no more drafting to be done. This is all she wrote. The only thing I could do would be to maybe pick up an item in the walk-in closet, but I almost don't even want to spend steps there. Let's just go with what we've got. Let's do it and just make sure I don't make a wrong turn. But we're going Maid's Chamber, and then Aquarium, and then Archives. And there was nothing in the Archives, right? No. We already looked in here. I'm getting sidetracked. I'm nervous. I'm just nervous that we're so close. And we might still not make it. I'm hoping we're going to make it, though, because we've got a chronograph as well. I think we should be in the clear. I'm hoping we should have it. Okay, we don't have it on the first draw here, unless it's here. I suppose this could be a, what's the last? No, we've drafted both walk-in closet and nursery, so this would have to be an uncommon or higher dead end. But we'll redraw first, because we got the redraws. Okay, neither one of these are what we want. I'm gonna rewind just so I can see what was on that, potentially see what was on that last slot. It's Solarium. I think that's it, folks. I'm gonna triple count this just to be sure, but we've got a tomb. That makes 1. Clock tower makes 2. Furnace makes 3. Lavatory, Geist bedroom, 4 and 5. Coat check, 6. Storeroom, 7. Nursery, 8. Walk-in closet, 9. Utility closet, 10. Regular closet, 11. Bunk room counts for 2. 12 and 13. Vault is 14. Planetarium is 15. Dormitory is 16. Laundry room is 17. Freezer 18, Study 19, and Solarium to end the day. Now, of course, we're gonna be greedy bastards here and try to go for a mail room or a tomorrow room that I haven't thought of that's a dead end. I'm not taking a break room. I love my security key card, but not today. But we have a solarium to fall back on. And this is where we free ride, unless we're going to the freezer with 7 gems. I have how many steps? 13 steps. Could we make it to the freezer, guys? Or am I this much of a greedy bastard? I think I could make it to the freezer. This is hilarious. 7 gems and whatever coins we have in the conference room. We would do it, wouldn't we? Entrance hall is 1, outside 2, 3, 4. That puts us at the foundation. 5, 6, 7. Maybe the vestibule screws us over and we have to spend 2 more steps, but we still have 10 and 11, and we can call it a day in the freezer after having frozen. Oh my God. Solarium, baby. Show it to me. Show it to me. I was wondering if it would put the trophy in the actual last dead end. So I don't know where the trophy is going to be unless it's here in the lobby. Or maybe we get it in the mail. Do I need, I should probably check. Have I done this correctly? Because maybe I screwed up. I need to now check my drafting strategy, blueprints, drafting strategy, Google Docs to remind myself what was the fine print regarding the sweepstakes here. It was volume 5, and can you beat his record? Draft 20 or more dead ends in a single day, and you could win 200 gold and the trophy of sweepstakes. Now there's a bunch of fine print at the bottom, which I can't read in this screenshot. Hold on, do I have a better screenshot in Steam? I do have a better screenshot, and I can actually bring it up on screen here. I've got this now programmed as a keyboard shortcut where I can go to my screen capture here at a moment's notice, and then we can zoom in. We can zoom in here. It's a little bit blurry, but we can totally make out this fine print. Eligibility, the Dead End Contest sweepstakes is open to legal residents of Fen Ares who are at least 12 years of age at the time of entry. Check. Employees of drafting strategy are ineligible. That doesn't count. Don't worry about that. Players must draft in a single home during must draft in a single house during a single day. Any number of rooms may be drafted, but only dead end rooms drafted during that day will be counted toward the dead end tally. If the dead end tally exceeds the current record of 19, the participant is considered a winner. Okay, so I guess we just wait. The winner will be notified and receive their prize by mail no later than 5 days after obtaining the dead end record. Okay, check the mail room for prize delivery. Okay, that's the fine print that I wanted to find out. We got to look for the mail room. Good. And it says that the trophy of sweepstakes has an approximate shop value of 50 gold. Say what? Okay. I don't know what we're going to do with this 200 gold. Other than spin it away in the casino, potentially, and spend it in the showroom. We'll find ways to spend it, but that's not the real prize. The real prize here is the trophy, and the trophy, apparently we have to wait a few days and draft a mailroom. We have to draft a mailroom in order to get that. But I think we're good. I think we're good, guys. I think we did it. Okay, so with that in mind, why don't we? Let's see where we're at here. I think we've got enough time left where we can go. I might just go right back to my screenshots, but what I want to do is I want to find the screenshots that we took for the Realm and Rune, because now we've covered our bases. All of our other duties are out of the way, and I really should just close this window and go straight to the top of my list of screenshots. I have like 500 screenshots in here. This is ridiculous. But if we go here, I think I've got Realm and Rune at the ready. Let's bring that back up. There we go. And let's read through this. Let's settle in, and I'm not gonna go into deep figuring out sigils just yet, but we're just going to read through what we do have, and I might start to think through what sigils we can put together for realms like the broken pottery bits that we've got. I'll start thinking that through off camera. Anyway, introduction. When the scholars of the first era found any hidden things, either of a natural source or resulting from the creations of man, they were accustomed to record these in various signs with the aid of figures. They did this in order that the sigils of their realm might not be understood by strangers. Historically speaking, sigils are not a new tradition. They have been found in every era and every culture, and predate both written text and heraldic arts. However, today when we use the term sigil, we're referring specifically to realm sigils, those crude circular marks of designation found on royal artifacts, buildings, and older documents. This book was written to make simple the understanding of these fascinating glyphs, and to clearly display the correlation between each sigil and the iconography of that realm's royal art. How is the image of a leafless, burning tree seen in geometric lines, and what does that tell us of a kingdom's history? Each line, each circle, and each variation tells a story of the land. Even the adorned borders around the sigil have special meaning. So the image of a leafless, burning tree, is that supposed to be actually one of the sigils? Is that one of the emblems, or is that just some archaic example of a realm that doesn't exist anymore? I'm wondering if I need to pay special attention to that line. Is that a clue for filling in one of our sigils? That's what I'm hoping for with Realm and Rune. I'm hoping to get some of these extra things. The sigil. To understand a realm sigil, we must first dismantle the symbol and identify the individual elements that make up the whole. Each sigil is composed of 4 things: the core, the dividing lines, the moats, and the border. We know about a lot of this already. The core at the center of each sigil is a unique shape, different for each realm. If the core gives us a name, then the rest of the realm tells us the history behind that name. Still, it is important to be able to identify and distinguish the core as a first step in deciphering any sigil, as all the other parts are meaningless if we don't first know the place we are describing. Several example cores taken from well-known sigils. We're familiar with all of these: Arinda Ares, Fen Ares, Iraja, Kararika, and Arch Ares, and via my most recent notes review video, I think I'm pretty confident now on the color for most of these. Iraja, I think, is purple. Kararika, I'm pretty sure, is orange. And Arch Ares, I think, is yellow. But I might need to double check that. I don't think I have figured them all out. I'm not sure if I have or not. But I've started to compile what I do know, and maybe we'll look at my little table here in just a moment. But let's keep reading. The rays, spouting forth from the core, will come several dividing lines, splitting the sigil into pieces. From one sigil to another, the rays will often differ in number, style, and form. Studying the differences in these lines will immediately reveal several things about the realm. Transportation, the number of rays, okay? This I think is new. I think this page was torn out previously. Counting the number of dividing lines in a sigil will reveal to us what method of transportation was prevalent in a realm. Were they a seaside kingdom that relied on ships, which I think is Morajai, or a desert domain that might have employed camels to cross the sandy expanse of their lands? That one I'm not so sure about, but I do think we have an indication that one of those sigils, one of those broken pottery bits, has like wavy lines, which is supposed to indicate desert-like weather, I think. Anyway, let's keep going. But the number of rays is important. That I didn't already know. So if you have 8 rays, you have naval capabilities, ship routes, seaports, and the 8 rays on these sigils resemble the directions on a compass rose. Roads, streets, and carriages, the 4 rays here look like crossroads on a map. Horseback is for rough trails, horseback, rough trails, another sigil that uses 4 rays. However, these will always be configured to suggest a horse galloping. Got it. Train system, locomotion. The 3 rays here are used in realms for sigils used in sigils for realms that rely on track-based travel. I want to say that that's what we had for Orinda, but we'll double check that. Aviation, dirigibles, balloons. The 5 rays here suggest travel above the horizon. That's got to be nuance. Nuance has got to be an aviation slash dirigibles slash blimps. That's what the stamp suggests for sure. Camels, pack mules, arid or desert trails, 2 rays to indicate a flat terrain. That one I'm not sure of yet. Aha! Turtleback travel. That is actually part of the rays here. 5 short rays that do not fully extend from the core to the border. So now I think we have something we want to know for Vera, the turtles of Vera. That's a pretty easy one now. So Vera is going to be the 5 short rays, and nuance is going to be these. But there's a few others here that I'm not totally sure how they apply. But I think Morajai is going to be the ship routes. So, okay, this is good. This is good. This is the kind of info I've been hoping for. Excellent. We've also got weather, the style of ray. Identifying the style of ray used in the sigil will show us what weather the kingdom considered native. Some are intuitive, like the jagged lightning-shaped lines to indicate stormy lands, which I think is probably Arch Aries. If I had to guess, knowing that we've got like lightning on the stamp in Arch Aries, then that would be a pretty safe bet there. Straight black lines indicate a lack of unusual or harsh weather and normal temperatures. Foggy or misty weather is indicated when the ray has several horizontal slashes across one side. And I think we did use foggy for either Orinda or Fen, or maybe both. Because they're both the same place, aren't they? That's the thing, is that you've got, if we go back to this page, there are 7 different styles of rays. So I think actually we'll review what Fen, because we did Fen Aries and we did Fen and Orinda already, and so they should both have the same number of rays as well as the style of ray. Wavy lines are used to indicate extreme heat. The scorched air and blazing sun cause the otherwise straight rays to appear shimmering. And of course, we've used this scorched word in our scorched sundial base, part of the new clue puzzle. A rainy realm is indicated with rays of 3 vertical lines pouring down. Uh-oh. There's an italics word here. There's an italics word here. How many other italics words are there? That's a very random, because we're not italicizing stuff like lightning or shimmering, misty. Why is pouring put in italics unless it's used as part of a clue for something else? For more extreme stormy weather, jagged lightning-shaped ray is used. A ray dotted with falling circles is used for colder realms in which snow is a common occurrence. Windy weather is displayed on sigils by the use of bent curved lines, rays buckling under the high winds. Most realms, I don't think I have a good idea of what type of weather goes with them, so we're going to have to do some thinking about that. Moats. This is another one that I think was mostly, at least this side was torn out. On each sigil, floating between the rays, are small figures called moats. From the shape and style of the moats used on a sigil, we can tell the type of society a given realm proclaimed, if they considered themselves mighty in arms or blessed by artistic and economic fortune. We have tribal, a primitive realm, hunter and gatherers. Don't know who that would be. Agricultural, harvest and farming-based society and culture. Martial, we know, is Fen. And there are actually 8 sigils here. So you do have the difference. You had Metropolitan for Orinda, but Martial for Fen. Militaristic nation engaged in generation-spanning wars and heated arguments. Metropolitan, large city-state with a dense urban and populous center. Academic, a center for knowledge advanced in various scholarly pursuits. These realms are home to many schools, universities, and libraries. Industrial, engineering-driven culture with a focus on manufacturing, invention, and production. Spiritual, an elevated reverence for nature, animals, and the forces that guide us. And poetic, a strong focus on the advancement of the arts, writing, music, and language. I suspect that poetic goes with Iraja, because I think this is the only moat that fits on that Irajan what I suspect is the Arajan partial sigil that's in the clock tower, I think. We'll keep reading. We'll keep thinking about that, though. The border around each sigil is an adorned edge, serving as a container for the information within. There are 8 different borders, each one corresponding to a different color. These borders always correspond to the banner and national colors of that specific realm. And once again, on the notes review session, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was doing prep during the notes review, trying to think through what some of these sigils could be. And I think we have most of these figured out. Yellow should be Arch Ares, orange should be Kararika. We'll check my table here in just a moment. Let's finish reading the book. Putting it all together, by studying the core, rays, motes, and border of a sigil, you should now be able to unlock the meaning behind what had previously been an undecipherable enigma. And then this last page, I think, had been torn out, but there had been some handwriting in the torn version that was indicating Fen Ares as this road carriage transportation. Okay. I mean, we should be able to figure that out from what we've done already, because we've already done the Fen Ares sigil. Weather foggy, society militaristic, banner red. So here is what I have figured out. I think I figured out so far. We've been able to get the shapes. I think we now know each shape that goes with each realm. So we at the very least know the sigil core. That wasn't too difficult to figure out. We've already kind of had this when we were going through the geography puzzle in room 46, which I now suspect to be directly connected to the sigil rooms. There's going to be a postcard in each of these 8 sigil rooms in the inner sanctum, and that postcard is going to tell you what order to put the realms in. What order did Sinclair visit them, and therefore which postcard did he send from which realm? And that tells you the order that they need to go in room 46, I think. That's my guess. Now, colors, so far, yeah, I think I only have these figured out. Based on the color worksheet in the classroom, I think we're able to tell that Kararika, Arch Ares, and Araja are these colors, but then it's up for debate what the others are. It's a little bit up for debate. And maybe we could do just a tad bit of brute forcing if we had to. If we got everything else figured out, eventually, if like going through Realm and Rune now and parsing what rays and what weather, I guess the weather is the rays and the motes are what type of society they were. Trying to go through the clues that we have and figure out whether it's the history of Arinda. The history of Arinda might have some clues that are going to talk about Iraja. It does talk about it already as a mystical realm of ancestors, a land steeped in tradition, magic, and the poetry of the old tongue. Does that mean that it's actually a magical, or what mote would that correspond to? I don't know. But I think that's the point that we're at here. But I might also have to go through places like the classroom. The classroom here, and going through these charts in the 4th grade, I was thinking there might be some clues if we look closer in this artwork that's around the Ore Sphere 3rd era or the Et Sphere 3rd era, which we now know to be the Western Hemisphere and the Eastern Hemisphere. But there are things on, there could be clues about the realms are on these particular sketches. Like we could be able to figure out maybe which realm is like the one of harvest and plenty, because it looks like on at least one of these, you've got like a whole bunch of baskets or bushels of crops that have been harvested. And on another one, it looks like you've got like people who have been inventing stuff, people who are looking closely at their writings and are digging hard into the scientific method, reaching out to the stars in their telescope. So that could be, we might even be able to say that is, because we know the diamond is which one? The diamond is nuance. Like I'm looking at this, I don't have a bigger screenshot here, unfortunately. I can't make it any bigger. But I know that there's a guy in this photo who's holding a scroll that has a diamond on it. And so I'm thinking, what if this is nuance, right? What if this is nuance here, and they're the ones that are the, if we go back, 1 second here. If we go back over to the book and we look at the moats, this academic, a center for knowledge and scholarly pursuits, that could be nuance. It would certainly make sense if they, but it also could be industrial. Manufacturing, invention, and production. Which one goes best with dirigibles and aviation? I'm not sure. You might end up doing like a little bit of brute force. Like you might narrow it down to nuance could be either academic or industrial, right? And then you could try either one of those in the appropriate place down in the inner sanctum. See which one works. This at the very least helps you narrow down the permutations that you're dealing with. Okie dokie. Realm and Rune. We've gone over our first perusal, and there is so much sleuthing to do to start putting sigils together now, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Let's finish off our draft though, because I am exhausted. I am beat, but I am so happy that we've been able to get 20 dead ends. I was briefly thinking about getting this dig site in the solarium to maybe get a couple more gems to carry over to the freezer, but if I work out my steps here correctly, that we might get a couple more gems to go to take to the freezer, but we might not. We might only get keys or dice, and we can't carry those over. So instead, I think if we pass on the dig site here, we might be able to make it to the freezer and then go back to the master bedroom to finish our day there. I think that's how we're going to play it and carry over, now that we know that we can carry over steps, 10 steps into tomorrow. So let's go. Let's finish things off. I'm still confounded about the clock tower. I don't know what we're going to do about the clock tower and getting a sanctum key from it. I might need to rely on some nudges. I might need some help from you all. It's a lot, man. This game, even if you're just playing it on your own and you're not worried about narrating all of your thoughts out loud, it's a difficult game, right? It's a tough game to try to get everything that you want to happen. There's so many interesting but tough choices to make throughout a draft, and then you have to absorb all of the puzzle information on top of it. It's such a good game, but it's also tough and it's mentally taxing. And having a little help from some friends, it ain't a bad thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me continue to mull over the clock tower for now. I luckily have plenty of keys to spend here as we go into the vestibule. This is kind of a fun room, but it can be annoying if you don't have keys. Normally that's not a problem for us, but we had a little bit of a minor hiccup there today. But we do have some coins to pick up because, oh my god, conference comboed with a tomb. Conference room. It's a conference tomb now, haha. And it just so happens to be right next to a freezer, which I think there's nothing else left for us to do. So we get to freeze over our resources to take into a new day. We did not get the clock tower figured out, and we didn't get to craft a burning glass today. So there's a secret still in the tomb that's gonna wait for us. But that's where we will wrap up this installment of Blueprints. Thank you all for hanging out with me, as you always do. We're gonna have exactly enough steps for us to call it a day in the master bedroom. If you did enjoy the video, please consider doing that YouTube thing and hitting those buttons down below and spreading the video, just like we spread coins to the conference room. It helps spread the video to people like you who would also enjoy it. Let's call it a day. That's all we can do for now. Look at those wonderful... We managed to unfreeze our assets and then get back just in the nick of time to freeze them once again. Calling it a day. And, oh my god, we should be sweepstakes winners, unless I have completely overlooked something. The room count on this page does not lie, right? 20 dead-end rooms, folks. There it is. Our temporal shopping center of the dead. Ain't it great? And we didn't even draft all 45 rooms. Proof that you do not need all 45 rooms to draft the 20 dead-end room sweepstakes. Unreal, man. We made it happen. We started with a furnace, and who knows, maybe that archives, I don't think it saved us or anything like that, because we still, we ended up drafting next to a wall in both of these four-way rooms were next to a dead end that was already there. But who knows, maybe that's how you got to do it, right? When you draft this many dead ends, things get funky. That's all there is to it. Looking forward, though, as we go forward into day 36, to parsing some sigils and hopefully starting to open some sigil doors. I think it might be time. We at least have a couple Sanctum keys that we already have access to, but we got to find more. There are more to be found, and apparently there's still something in the planetarium to find. There's so many secrets, it feels like. We still haven't even drafted the tunnel. Got to draft the tunnel as well. Stuff to do and a floor plan to find. What will happen on days 36? We'll find out. Thank y'all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.